they don't want it with me. You got a problem with me? Love, you don't want it with me. Man, you won't ever stop me. Who y'all really got a problem with? Who y'all really trying to solve them with? Who don't really like the sound of this? Who come with me getting down to this? You better step back, get your neck cracked, get laid down where you best at. Better check that with a fresh map. Get lost now with no extract. Like look, that's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see beating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving up, no. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you never gonna stop me. Ayy, sound the alarm. We about to go on. You getting it wrong. Time to go off. Can't hold us back. Truth hurts, you always that. My truth lurks, say y'all collapse. Now scoop first where your homies at. Come my team with me right now. My team's on me right now. But what you mean y'all out? It's time to weed y'all out. Okay, we coming back with a vengeance. Time to go start your engines. What is this thing y'all mention? Time for y'all stop pretending, Nah, y'all can't do that. Where your crew at? Y'all can't do that. Nah, where your crew at? Nah, man, cause now you alone. Yeah, get out of my zone. Man, cause now you alone. Love, get out of my zone. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss, time's right. And I know the sea is walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. Might drown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play, I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me, then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way, yeah, yeah. Out of the way, yeah, yeah. Out of the way. stop going till a player on top know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not afraid, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look.
You won't stop my stride. I'll just break your line. I don't tolerate wasted time. Take us down, keep fighting.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series. My name is Victor. This just joining me is Danilee. We're going to be your casters for today, coming into day number 2 of this challenge season. How are you doing?
I'm excited and I'm really pumped. Now, I know for some of you tuning into the broadcast, maybe you watched yesterday's matches. If you didn't, it's totally fine. But I do highly recommend them because we had some absolutely wicked, sick series. And I think something to really note about the games yesterday as well is that they went remarkably fast for Free Fire games, right? The standard game, I think it's very common to say that the circle is generally almost closed or fully closed when it ends. The Thai teams have been moving so fast-paced that sometimes that final circle doesn't really even have an opportunity to close, right?
Yeah, and that's going to be something really interesting to see because it seems like the Thai teams are really rising to the top of the cream, isn't it? So nevertheless, though, let's go ahead and have a look at the video that kind of explains what's going on here with this challenge season. So go ahead, check it out.
Hello survivors and welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Season 2. My name's Danilee and it has been an exciting series so far in the Asia Pacific region. Here's how the format works. Teams are divided into 4 separate regions, with 24 teams representing each region in the qualifying finals group stages. Only 12 teams from each region will move on to the regional finals. Teams then battle it out in the regional finals, and only the remaining top 3 teams in each region will represent their region in the upcoming Challenge Season 2. Let's check out some of the highlight moments and how they got there. Over in Malaysia, Singapore and the Philippines, there were intense shootouts happening between the teams. Shotguns seemed to be the weapon of choice here as most teams tested their skills when meeting their opponents face to face. Auto knockout was seen as major threats after their dominance in the group stages. However, they failed to show the same level of gameplay in the regional finals. Most of the competition though seemed to be between FARANG and Expand, with Expand getting 4 booyahs, thus giving them a dominant lead. AV Radicals delivered an unbelievable performance too, getting the booyah and 23 kills. Ultimately though, the tough competition for top 3 ended with Expand, FARANG and Axis Esports coming out on top in the region. Heading over to Thailand, the fan favourites here have been putting on quite a show. EARENA put on a solid performance even though they failed to secure a booyah on the first day. They eventually picked up the pace and had good flanking which helped them secure a booyah even in a 2v3 situation. King of Gamers Club was putting on a show. They got 4 booyahs during the regional finals and have shown why they deserve to play with the big boys. NIGMA Galaxy showed the most consistent performance by being top 3 after almost every match. It was their gameplay and skills that showed why they're one of the fan favourites in Thailand. Their understanding of the game and high skills put them at the top of the Thai region along with EARENA and King of Gamers Club. In the Vietnam region, the regional finals has been a show for the teams to showcase their talents. The matches between Heavy, Team Flash, MDH Esports and HQ Esports were highly competitive. Team Flash were dominating early on and secured 2 booyahs, but Heavy were leading in overall points. Similarly to other regions, teams at Vietnam liked getting their kills in close quarter situations, and even got some vehicle kills. Roadkill! Beautiful grenade throws, multiple frags, and highly accurate shots also helped MDH Esports get a booyah and 20 kills in just one match. At the end of the day, the top 3 Vietnamese teams were Heavy, MDH Esports, and Team Flash. Finally, onto Indonesia. The battle for top 3 in the Indonesian regional finals was super close amongst all 12 teams. After a stunning group stage, OPI looked to continue leading the region. However, all the teams were fighting a close battle and were hungry to get top 3. With such amazing plays and tactics, Indonesia showed us why they have such amazing Free Fire teams with glorious action all around. At the end of the day, the top 3 Indonesian teams were Saudara Esports, First Raider Eclipse, and DEWA United Esports. And those were the highlights for the top 3 teams from each region. These teams will be facing 6 invited teams from Challenge Season 1. These teams are Sem9, Anxiety, EVOS Phoenix, EVOS Divine, V Gaming, and Attack All Round. Out of all the teams, which country has the better Free Fire players?
Alright, so let's go ahead and come down to brass tacks now. This is a prize pool that all the teams are playing for here. The first prize having $30,000 to the name there. That's a lot of money there, especially when you compare it down further the list, because second place has $20,000, third place is $10,000, fourth place is $5,000. It goes all the way down to even only $1,500 for those who have finished in 17th, 18th place.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a bigger prize pool as well because all the teams deserve to be here, right? You are either invited or you managed to make it top 3 in your region, which that accomplishment alone is a very big deal for a lot of the teams because you've proven that you are already one of the best in Southeast Asia. And so, I mean, I justify easily, like, sure, you come 17th, 18th, 1,500, no problem.
Yeah.
But we're going to see another prize pool here, Victor. Now, here's the thing. This is the bigger one, and it's the one that everyone is aiming for. Now, if you're confused as to why, hang on a minute, why are there 2 prize pools? It's because this is the prize pool for the Challenger Finals, right? So to qualify for this prize pool, you have to make it to top 12 of this group stage.
Exactly.
Which means, unfortunately, only 12 make it through, and that means the remaining 6 teams are going to exit the tournament, which is very unfortunate. But unfortunately, someone has to go to make room for the finals.
Exactly. I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And again, you know, the challenge season is a 2-phase kind of thing. So you'll have the top 6 teams first, like qualifying there, and then we'll have another round of the season where we're going to find another 6 teams to join them. And that's how we're going to be finding the top 12 to play for the final prize pool. Point system here is pretty much what you're going to be very familiar with, especially if you've been following Free Fire for quite a while. So it's again 12 points for the winner, 9 points for second place. So there's a 3-point split. Then it's going to be a 1-point split all the way down to 10th place. 11 and 12 will not receive any points, but players or rather teams can still earn additional points by getting kills.
Yes. Now, here's the thing that we've witnessed so far from yesterday. So the tournament brackets, or at least the matches, have been very top-heavy, right? Most of the points, and especially most of the kills, have been going to, I want to say, the top 3, top 4 teams, which means there's not much left for everyone else when it comes to scoring points. And that is a little bit of a worry because back in the day, you would say kills would be a comeback mechanism. But if there aren't many kills going your way, is it actually going to be worth it anymore? That's where placements are going to start being important. But we do have the schedule on the screen right now, and it's going to be Purgatory and Alpine today. If you wanted to tune into Bermuda and Kalahari, you can tune into yesterday's games. I promise you they were very exciting, but I think today's going to be even more exciting, right, Vic? Because the introduction of 2 new maps means that I think some teams are going to rise to the occasion today because map preference, I do think this is a big factor for some of these teams.
Oh, for sure, because every single map here in Free Fire has very different kind of like gameplay loops as well as like styles. Like, I mean, just to kind of give a comparison, Kalahari I think has a lot more
open spaces
and verticality. Yeah, and like between Alpine and Purgatory, I think Alpine is a little bit more like spacious in that regard too. So even though they may look similar-ish in terms of like terrain features, they're very different to play around.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the graphic and you sort of like looked at it quickly, you'd be like, oh, is it all Purgatory today? Because the map's pretty similar. All right, let's take a look at the groups very quickly. So we are going to start today with Group A versus B on Purgatory first. Now, just a quick refresher here, we do have the teams competing in these groups here. Now, for some big teams that you do need to watch out for, of course, it's going to be EVOS Phoenix. This is our current leader of the leaderboard, and this team is monstrous. I think at the moment they're currently the only team to have, is it 3 Booyahs under their belt? Or is it 2?
It's actually
2
2, but
Booyahs.
then they also have, firstly, 52 kills in total from yesterday. So I only can't imagine what
like
kind of chaos it was.
94 points, I think.
Yes, 94
overall.
points
Yeah.
overall.
So they couldn't quite hit that 100 mark, but I mean, today, I think they'll get the 100 easy. But
yeah. So another team to kind of like keep an eye out as well as EARENA, because they may not be as like kill heavy or placement points heavy as EVOS, but they are second in the
close
overall
contenders.
standing. Very close. I think we'll say closer contender to attack all around. So currently is sitting at 69 points to EARENA's 74. So I'm thinking that second place very much going to be up of grabs. EVOS right now definitely could be sitting very, very comfortably in that top spot here.
Yeah.
So we'll see whether or not they'll stay comfortable as we have a look at the overall standings.
Yeah, I got to give everyone a quick refresher to see what's sort of happening in that tournament. So as Victor did mention, and also on the screen, we did show essentially the top 3 teams that are currently hogging the majority of the kills and placement points. So top 3, I think it's relatively safe, although I do think that attack all around, if they don't do well today, they could potentially lose their placements to some of the other teams, right? So I think from 4th to 7th, it's a very close race between these 4 teams, just because it's a matter of like, what, 2 points, 3 points to potentially take over. So one good performance from these teams can easily shoot them up that bracket. But we do need to remember as well, right, you're really aiming to sit at the top of the bracket. So ideally, you'd want to be top 6. But of course, top 12 is probably where you want to say is the cutoff, because if you don't make it to 12, you are out of the competition.
I mean, one thing to consider as well, though, is that because challenge season is running in 2 phases, so the first phase we're going to be finding the top 6 out of this top 18, and then the next phase we're going to be taking the remaining 12 out of the 18 here to find another top 6.
Yeah.
So I think, like, even though yes, everyone's going to be aiming to get to that first spot, but I think more importantly for them is that the minimum objective for them is to be in that 6th place. So I'm expecting that 4th to 6th, or sorry, the 4th to 7th place to be even more competitive as the days go on.
I mean, let's be honest, okay? You want to be in that box of half a dozen donuts, because if you're not in that box, you're out. But but I think as well, we do need to consider that, yeah, everyone's aiming for top 6, but we also have to sort of look at the point cutoffs, right? Like, how big is that gap between the teams making it to top 6? Could someone potentially drop down after a bad day? Is there a team that can make a comeback because they have 1 week where they're playing their favorable map? Because so far, we've only seen everyone perform on Bermuda and Kalahari. Now that we've got Purgatory and Alpine on the field, I want to see what's going to happen really with that leaderboard.
Yeah, and I think this, especially for the teams that are like, maybe you can say they're underperforming in that first day, this could be the day for them to actually rise to the occasion then.
Yeah.
Because, like we mentioned, Purgatory and Alpine, very different maps compared to what Bermuda and Kalahari offer. So I think this is going to be a test on how adaptable some of these teams are, and also how much knowledge they really have of the game itself.
Yeah, speaking of knowledge, though, we do have knowledge of our amazing sponsors that did manage to put this tournament together. So first off, we're going to say thank you to Snapdragon Elite Gaming for putting this together. If it wasn't for them, we would not be having this tournament at all. Us, the casters, the players as well, and I do believe you viewers as well, very appreciative for Snapdragon Elite Gaming for putting this together. But of course, you do need to remind everybody as well, the big guns, right? The big tournament, the big thing that we're aiming for. Like, this is a big tournament, but the tournament gets even bigger. As you see on the screen right now, we have the Jakarta Grand Final on the 4th and 5th of February next year. Not this year, because this February is gone. The upcoming February 2023, 4th and 5th. We do promise it's going to be exciting. Make sure you mark the 4th and 5th of February on your calendar now. Make sure it's free. We are going to remind you every single broadcast day to make sure that you are going to be there to watch some amazing Free Fire games.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be so lucky if you live in Jakarta and you're a Free Fire fan, because all the best teams in Southeast Asia and perhaps even more are all going to be there. So make sure if you guys are there to go ahead and check it out. Or if you're not, go ahead and, book your tickets, mark your calendars, whatever you need to do.
And also, You gotta get your predictions in, Victor.
Oh man.
Ah!
Yeah, this is the part that the hardest part of my job, I guess, as a
Yeah.
commentator, is really bringing in their predictions. I mean, it's safe to say that, like, especially after yesterday, that we could see the Thai region having a very strong showing right now. But now that we're going to be switching to a new set of maps here, I think like this is where I want to start to see the other regions start to rise up. So regions like Philippines, like Malaysia, like Singapore, like these teams also need to show that they are deserving of their spot right over here. So
Yeah.
I'm predicting we're going to be seeing like a few booyahs coming out from teams not from Thailand today.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I kind of want to give Heavy a bit of my confidence. Yes, it's not MF the day, but I think that we also need to give a quick mention to Indonesia as well. So I think out of all the Indonesian teams, only SES is currently sitting comfortably on that leaderboard. I want to see more from Indonesia. I want to see what else this region has to show for us. Like, is it really the domination of Thailand, or is it just because Thailand's good at Kalahari and Bermuda? Maybe today is going to be the day where we start to see some of the other regions shine. I hate that we keep bringing this up, but I feel like it's just such an important aspect of the tournament.
I mean, yeah, exactly, because, you know, you definitely will have some teams that will be stronger in certain environments. And that's
Yeah.
why it's important to have competitions that really challenge these kind of players by bringing in new environments and bringing in new challenges for them.
Yeah. Looks like the game is ready, so let's jump into game number 1, Victor. It's groups A versus B on Purgatory, and let's see what everyone does decide to drop in. And if we see some shenanigans, which are already right off the bat, I do think we're going to be seeing a couple, not even a couple, there's a
few.
lot of teams invading the island. I don't know if we can keep up with this, Victor.
Oh, it's going to be chaotic in this first round. I mean, like, again, you know, is go big or go home? I think for a lot of these teams, you can see them already exchanging fire right now.
We can't even see.
Yeah, so first blood already taken here. We're here with
Ooh.
Expand because they're landing on ground here together with what I believe is Flash, Team
Yes.
Flash right now on Central. So
They've lost Cobra as well, who is a pretty big player on the team. He's the one that tends to do a lot of the damage. So to lose Cobra now, if you're Expand, you either have to fully commit and win this engagement, or you're going to have to send someone out to retreat and try and get the team revives off. We have seen a lot of this happen yesterday, but Expand are not looking too good.
no, they're looking a bit scattered actually because Flash seems to have a lot of good angles to work with them. Brian gets a good knockdown onto Too Fast. Now he's trying to find Flyboy just around the outside. Oh, sorry, X-Roy right around the outside. He tried to put in an ice wall. Didn't work out for him at all. He's down for the count. Now just the Axel left on the second floor, but Flash, they have him completely surrounded and probably dead to rights.
Oh, this is a terrible place to be if you're Expand. It's either going to have, I think if you're Axel, you have to land those shots, which he's going to try and go for it. He gets the knock. It's 1v1. Oh god, I'm so tense now.
Oh man, this is definitely not the start that Expand nor Flash was looking for, but someone's gonna have to bring this home here, ladies and gentlemen. The Axel trying to go up against Shin. Shin trying to hide around. He's gonna come down. Oh, and he gets taken down by the Axel. Unfortunately, Axel a little bit too slow to get the revive on his teammates, but he could definitely try to bring them back at the revive point later on.
On the other side of the field as well, we did see Sem9 got eliminated by Team EARENA, who also dropped in on Lumber Mill. So we've got two teams right off the bat out of the picture, but Expand barely surviving. The Axel, and luckily for Axel as well, right? They're right on top of a revive point. So he's going to be able to bring the entire team back. And yeah, they're going to be naked for now, but luckily they've got an entire team that they can lose and they can sort of get back into the game. And they also have 4 kills under their belt, which is a great way to start the game. But let's take a look at the situation here for the other teams, right? So at the moment, we've got 2 teams currently occupying the center of the map on Brasilia. So we've got Attack All Around and MDH. Although I think these teams, I don't know if they're aware of anyone here yet.
There is a UAV being brought up, though, so I think that might scout out a couple of people. I mean, certainly Kokoro is keeping an eye out on that cabin down by the hill there because he probably suspects a member of MDH or someone is down there. He hears some footsteps. He's going out to explore. Might he come into some collision here? He's already sending out the grenades, actually, so yeah, he definitely knew someone was there. He's now flushed him out completely. Can't quite get a good shot on him, though, because the ice wall came out just in time to keep that member MDH alive. Now Kokoro is going to be forced to bring his ice wall out now that he's exposed out on the main road.
I was a little tense, but luckily the team was able to regroup, so it is going to be a full-on 4v4 situation. It's not going to be a knock on the side of MDH. And I think both of these teams are now sort of going to have to stop and maybe stall it out a little bit to see what else they want to do. I do like this play. I was a little bit worried. It's like, are they really going to rush in there? Because that's pretty ballsy, especially this early on. But yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a truce.
Yeah.
Although... Go ahead.
I think Axis just lost a member there. Looks like they weren't having the best of time, is actually because I think it was only Exact and 666 Raph left there. And I think Exact got a little bit too close to EARENA there, so that was a good shot across the river there to take him out, leaving Axis down to only one person left here. In the meantime, everyone else just going to be staying in their place, especially those in Brazil right now, because the circle pretty much keeps them in play here. Don't really need to move around too much, I feel.
Yeah, so I think everyone's sort of wanting to try and go into a safe position now, right? We're not really seeing too much action. Teams are trying to find compounds or at least go into that inner circle. Although looking at the map here, we could maybe see an engagement here by first raiders as they want to come in and engage into anxiety. And I think they did spot them out as well, but they're turning around. Okay, no, they're going to disengage. I think they're a little bit too worried. This was a team that was sitting in the high tier loot zone as well, so you're going to be at an equipment disadvantage, so safe play. Totally understandable. They're like, yeah, nah, we'll dodge.
Yeah, I think they're just making a beeline straight for that golf course, though, because that's where the revive point is. So perhaps want to try to catch some stragglers. Maybe 666 Raph, since he's already crossed the river now.
I mean, I think if you're Raph, like you're kind of hoping, like, hey, is this empty? Can I bring my team back? It could be a trap. I'm a little bit worried for this man.
Yeah, nevertheless, though, first response has already picked up some vehicles. It's already made their way into the circle now. Jungler is going to be taking the longer scenic route here on both feet, but nevertheless, he's already within the safety of this current zone.
Yeah, so Raph's not going to be able to get into that revive point. I think as soon as he sees somebody, he's like, oh god, mistakes have been made, and he has been spotted as well.
Oh man, I don't know what kind of cover he can do now because he's completely stuck out in the open. He could see shots coming from that side there, so he's definitely keeping an eye out. That's right where the revive point is, but
he so desperately needs it though. Like it's just he's so alone, and I don't think there are any revival points outside of that one. So he's either praying that maybe Anxiety tries to go and engage into first raiders to give him an opportunity, but I just don't think that's happening because above we have EVOS Phoenix going into Anxiety. So this western side of the map is going to be very cluttered very soon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be even more chaotic later on because the circle just kind of like sits more to the eastern side, so whoever wins on the western side here is going to have a long trek to get to the safe zone for the next circle now, so they're going to have to finish this up quickly.
So Raph's going to go for the buy point, so at least he will be able to get a revive off, but I'm very sure he was hoping that he was going to get the revive pad. But you know, sometimes you're just not lucky. But yeah, so Axis, they will come back into this game hopefully. And I do want to see what's happening with some of the other teams, right? So we currently have EVOS Phoenix engaging into Anxiety on the western side. On the eastern side, we have DEWA going up against NIGMA Galaxy. And then you have Attack All Round still sort of stuck in a stalemate here with MDH. So NIGMA, they have a vehicle. If it does get popped, they can use it as a wall. That's really, I mean, it's a bike. Can you hide behind a bike? Not really.
Not really.
I mean, cosplay is the bike, I suppose. I'm just a bike, don't shoot. But yeah, so surprised at how quiet this game is. I'm so used to it.
It's like I expect like yesterday it was
Hang
definitely
on,
a lot
people
more.
are dropping like flies, man. We've got Anxiety going down to EVOS Phoenix. Now Attack All Rounds engaged into MDH. Where's all this action suddenly come from? I think we may have just potentially jinxed this game.
Yeah, Cass's commentator's curse right there, ladies and gentlemen. So AAA already getting to some engages here, and MDH already losing Nuke. Oh, they're losing Nero as well. Don't cry. This is looking terrible right now for MDH. As AAA now attack all around, attacking them all over here right now. And MDH down to the last member. Are they going to be able to disengage out of this, though? Doesn't look like so. MDH has been eliminated.
Unfortunate for this team. We will be switching back to Attack All Around's point of view. And I think that is first raiders that are on the map there. So we could be seeing a potential engagement here. I do believe it's a 4v4 as well. But first raiders, they do have the compound advantage, I believe. Like all their players are in compounds. I don't know if Attack All Round know that they're there as well. So they could be caught with their pants down.
But then look at who else is coming here. Third party now. Axis, I think. That is
back
just
from the dead.
Back from the dead,
yeah.
indeed. And now going to be looking like a third party in this matchup now. That the circle is already closing in around them. Now, they are close to this safe zone, though. So they can still definitely try to play around this blue zone a little bit before retreating to safety. But now this is going to be the time to get striking here as AAA loses Kokoro on the ground right now as they try to scramble to reposition themselves. First response is going to try their very best now to keep them contained here, but then they also have to watch out from down south because Axis Esports certainly is watching this battle very closely and probably will be in the best position to catch any stragglers out of this fight.
Man, this western side of the map is absolutely cluttered. There are so many teams here. If anyone decides to gatekeep, this is going to be the perfect opportunity to do so. Anxiety, though, they did lost one of their players to the Axel. And looks like Expander also growing some really big kills on the other side of the map. We're busy with this engagement, but I mean, they're more than happy to gatekeep because the circle is actually moving towards the eastern side of the map. So these teams here, first raiders and Attack All Round, it's either you gotta sign a peace treaty and go into that circle together, or it's gonna be, you know, you just gotta kill him. And so far, it looks like you gotta kill him now.
Peace was never an option, I think, here for Attack All Around, as they've already gotten a couple of knockdowns so far. But Kokoro completely locked down inside his ice wall formation right now.
The circle's coming in, and look at how quickly everyone's health is going down.
Expanding, getting themselves completely taken out, actually, in that fight. So we'll see what happens, though, for first response here as Souza continues to try to fight on, trying to find another member of AAA, but gets himself knocked down instead. Dark Law has actually kept himself out of trouble, just walking his way to the safe zone here as a bit of insurance while he lets his teammates continue to fight on inside the blue zone. But right now, AAA seems to have the upper hand, though, as Kokoro and Jump God still remain standing, though, in this fight, and it looks like first response doesn't have any more people left to fight in this one.
Yeah, Attack All Round, able to put the attack in their name and at least preserve themselves, but they got to start moving into that circle soon because this is going to be some critical damage. And remember, right, there's going to be teams that are already in that circle ready to gatekeep. So the fact that you're being pushed in by that circle damage and also being gatekept, it's going to be a really tough spot to be in just to make it inside the circle. They're not running any vehicles. They're going to have to walk their way through. Anxiety, unfortunately, going to be losing their last player to NIGMA Galaxy. That's going to be our 7th place team. But so far, we've got NIGMA in a pretty good position so far. 5 kills to their team name. They have a bike to scout around with as well, actually a couple vehicles. So these guys, they have a lot on their arsenal so far, looking to gatekeep some of these teams coming in. They're going to go into EVOS Phoenix. Now, this is one of the big teams that you have to watch out for. They are the heavy guns. They are very scary in these engagements. Can NIGMA take them down?
Well, we'll have to see, though, because NIGMA Galaxy does have the high ground compared to Axis, who, by the way, you know, in that fight early on, they kind of stuck around a little bit too long there. So they had to kind of come to the safe zone here from the blue zone. I think that's put them in a bit of a disadvantage, and even more now that they're being gatekept by both NIGMA as well as AAA. But Jump God is alone, though. He's trying to see if he can get a good shot.
He can't get them.
Can't get it. He can't get it. The spread was a little bit too wide there, and he might have just left himself a little bit too exposed because NIGMA now is putting fire under him. Now he's going to commit to the fight, though, but loses his life as a result.
He wanted to take out Flame, but Flame was just too good. He got the shot in. DEWA United, the next team to be eliminated. That was so painful, right? Like, they had so many openings. It's just none of the shots landed. So Flame, last player for Axis to go down. I mean, he's happy. He got that kill.
Yeah.
Totally okay. Now, going into this final round here, Victor, we've got 3 teams remaining, 9 players to go. EARENA, as well as NIGMA Galaxy, looking to fill at least most of their shoes. They've got their entire rosters alive, whereas we've got one more team. Who is that last person? It's it's EVOS Phoenix. Is it Moshi?
I don't see Yoshi. No, yeah, it's Moshi. Sorry,
It's
it is
Moshi.
So
Okay.
he's the only member left of EVO still alive. But NGX and EARENA both still have full stacks here. So I think likely the fight in this final circle is going to be between these 2 squads.
Yeah, and the circle's not going to go in favor of EVOS either. So there's a good chance that unfortunately they won't be able to maybe snap up that 2nd place. They've got to. It's a long run. EARENA do have a pretty big advantage, I feel, right? Almost their entire team is right next to where that next circle is going to be. There's one NIGMA Galaxy person there, but as you can see, the rest of NIGMA, they're circling the perimeter, trying to see, okay, is there anyone that we could potentially gatekeep? They're going to scout around. They don't quite see what the opening's going to be, but they're going to rush EARENA? Okay.
Just going to rush it with the ice walls, with whatever vehicles they had, just trying to force an issue here because they do know that this warehouse is a little bit outside of the next circle, so they can just beat them right here and now. Why not, right? So that forces EARENA basically to come outside, and Moshi gets caught out as a result now, but is he still going to be able to stick around for a little bit too long? Doesn't look like so. He's going to be taken down by Protote.
Unfortunately, there's not enough greenery for him to hide around. I mean, he tried his best, you know. Third place is not too shabby for this team at all, but now it's going to come down to EARENA, and there we go.
Yeah.
Wow, NIGMA Galaxy. Unfortunately, their rush wasn't quite enough to break that defensive position from EARENA. It just, I think a little bit of luck really playing into EARENA's favor there, just because it was much easier for them to get into the compound. NIGMA Galaxy, they were so far away, they had to bum rush it with their vehicles, and sometimes if you don't get those lethal shots the first couple, for the first couple peaks, I feel like you sort of lose your advantage, because defenders always have the advantage.
Exactly. I mean, EARENA already had the perfect setup going to that final circle anyway, right? You know, they took control of the warehouse early on. Outside of that, it was only like a scattering of trees and maybe rocks to kind of hide behind. So
it was pretty open.
Yeah, NIGMA was already in a very high pressure situation at that point there, because they knew if they don't take control of that warehouse, the EARENA has a perfect base of fire basically to attack them inside the final circle.
Yeah, so unfortunate for NIGMA. They looked so good, but I mean, that's not going to be it for the team. I'm actually, after seeing that round, I'm looking forward to seeing how this team potentially plays on our next map, which is going to be Alpine. It's similar to Purgatory. No, not a direct replica. The maps look more similar than the actual maps themselves. But but NIGMA, I mean, they really showed off their skills today. Yesterday, they weren't too bad. I think they did show elements of what we saw today. It was just they looked much more polished on Purgatory.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the first booyah of the challenge season so far. So
for EARENA.
For EARENA. Second.
So NIGMA, they haven't quite got a booyah, but I definitely feel it's coming soon.
Yeah, so we'll see how that turns out there, because like we still have plenty more matches to play today.
Hey, we got 5 more to go. You know, we're gonna have a whole heyday today. But I think this was a really interesting way to start the day, though, because I was really thinking that the games are going to be super fast, action-packed, kill, 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 kill. And outside of those 2 hot drops that we saw on the island towards the southern section of the map, it was pretty quiet. You know, there was some peace treaties being signed. The whole world was enjoying actual global peace. And then, yeah, unfortunately, you run out of land, and it's like, okay,
peace over.
Let's go. Everyone pulls down the white flag. So, yeah, free fire, everything's sort of free for all. But yeah, I think Purgatory, definitely a bit of a surprise. Is this going to be the trend today? I feel like this is a game-by-game basis, and I feel like this was just sort of the exception with how everyone dropped in.
I think like it does make sense that there are going to be some teams that will go all out on day one, since the 2 like most well-known maps, right? Bermuda and Kalahari. So I think like the strong teams already recognize that this is going to be a good opportunity for them to farm up a lot of points, and then perhaps use that as a resource for the later days where it's going to be the maps that they're not too familiar with. So at least they have a bit of a buffer to work with.
Yeah, very likely. So here is the overall standings for round 1's game. We have EARENA locking in 25 points to start the day. Very nice with the squad. 13 kills, as well as the 12 points from that booyah. NIGMA Galaxy, yes, they did only scrape by on the second place. So close to getting that first, but, you know, sometimes things just don't work out. They did also take home 6 kills, which means 15 points is going to be going in the bag for them. EVOS Phoenix. Now, this is this the lowest number of points they've gotten so far? I do think so, or it's in the running to be quite close. Because up until this point, EVOS had been averaging 24 points, which is amazing for a team to get in general. But yeah, it was this map. Either the team is maybe not confident on Purgatory, or they got unlucky. We didn't actually get to see much of their perspective in that mid-game, so we didn't really see what happened.
That was the thing I wanted to bring out, is that we actually didn't really see much of what Phoenix did in this map here until like it was literally too late without already down to the last member. So I do think it might have been kind of a bit of a trouble that they had to deal with during this round here, but I think it's pretty much less trouble here for EARENA. That's a very solid performance we've seen from them in this first round of the day, so hopefully this trend continues and they were going to continue to challenge EVOS Phoenix for that top spot.
That's also assuming EVOS Phoenix don't play like they did yesterday. So it's game 1. I mean, it's kind of promising. I mean, they still got third, so like 14 points isn't actually that bad, in case anyone's wondering. 14 points is actually pretty dang good for a team to score average. But I am genuinely curious, is there going to be anyone that can compete with them for that first place? Because especially after yesterday, they seemed like they were in an impossible position where they were unreachable, untouchable. Was there anyone that could remove their crown, kick them off the throne? Now, if we talk about yesterday, absolutely not, because they looked amazing. Today, maybe? I mean, it's almost like they're sitting on the edge of the throne, but it's only one game. You know, sometimes you just have that one bad game.
We're talking about like literally a sample size of 1 right now.
Exactly.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we have plenty more games to play here for today. So a lot more data for us to speculate right now about the performances of our teams here. But I digress though. That's going to be a little bit later, as we're going to be taking a short break. But when we come back, we're coming back with more Free Fire action here at the Snapdragon Pro Series. So stick around. We'll be right back.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
They don't want it with me. You got a problem with me? Love, you don't want it with me. Man, you won't ever stop me. Who y'all really got a problem with? Who y'all really trying to solve them with? Who don't really like the sound of this? Who come with me getting down to this? You better step back, get your neck cracked, get laid down where you best step. Better check that with a fresh map. Get lost now with no extract. Like, look, that's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see me heating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving up, no. shoot me y'all out. It's time to weed y'all out. Okay, we coming back with a vengeance. Time to go start your engines. What is this thing y'all mention? Time for y'all stop pretending, Nah, y'all can't do that. Where your crew at? Y'all can't do that. Nah, where your crew at? Nah, man, cause now you alone. Yeah, get out of my zone. Man, cause now you alone. Love, get out of my zone. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Love, you got a problem with me. Love, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Love, you got a problem with me. Love, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Snapdragon Pro Series. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Danali. We're going to be your casters, bringing you round number 2 of today, day number 2. After already seeing the action down on Purgatory, it's time to go up to Alpine.
I wonder, is Alpine like on a mountain? Because you would assume like Alpine, right? Like the biome is normally on the mountain, but Alpine is kind of flat. Like, is this like a flat mountain where it's like you go up and then it's flat? Like, that's Alpine. And then you have the windmill, you know? Signature Alpine.
I like to imagine that Alpine is actually, you know, between 2 mountains or something. You know, the valley in between.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. All right, very quickly, let's take a look at the overall standings, see what sort of happened after that first round. Because it was a bit of a funky one, right? It wasn't as fast-paced as yesterday's games. And EVOS Phoenix, they still remain in first place, but EARENA picked up a whopping 25 points in that round alone, and that has rocketed them to 99 points. Still second place, but they are now a mere 9 points away from dethroning EVOS Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, 9 points from like a 20-point lead that EVOS had, you know, prior to that first round. So, I mean, in terms of like taking a chunk out of EARENA certainly has taken a big bite out of EVOS' lead now. So this could be a really good way for them to finally show up to EVOS here. And also shout out to Attack All Around there for staying with quite close EARENA, still keeping themselves on the 3rd place spot, even though NIGMA Galaxy was making a lot of gains here, but still kind of fell a little bit short of breaking that top 3.
Yeah, but I do see that NIGMA Galaxy, they're making progress. They are slowly making their way to that sort of top 3 positions. They could end up being a big race for top 4, but this still means that 5th and 6th, right? Like, we're ultimately aiming for top 6 in the competition. It's still pretty wide open, you know, like Expand, it's very doable for example, SES ALFAINK to take over Expand's position. I think MDH, if they've got a couple of good rounds, they can also absolutely take over Expand. It just comes down to whether or not these teams towards the bottom of the standings are firstly able to get a booyah or pick up a whole bunch of kills, or both, of course. If you can do that as well, that'd be pretty nice. But one good round for some of these bottom teams, it's gonna easily push them into that top 6.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that, like, Semna having the Booyah, I think, was the crucial determining factor in
that
making
brought
sure.
them back into the fold,
yeah,
right?
pretty much, isn't it? So, yeah, it's just, you cannot really discount any of these teams, because you have to remember, these are literally representing the top of their respective regions here. We're not talking about, like, you know, just this being like an open competition. These guys literally fought their way to get to the slot in this challenge season here, and they're here to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do think we're going to jump into our next game in just a moment, and if anyone isn't quite sure where we are at in the competition, it is game number 2. We're jumping into Alpine here with groups A and B. It's also going to be the final game for these 2 groupings before we move on to B versus C. So let's see what happens. We've got the teams dropping in, and I want to see who actually decides to go for that high tier loot zone, because so far we haven't seen one team dominate the blue zone. It has been a bit of a mix and match, and some teams are looking to compete, and so far we're seeing Anxiety, Flash, although I think Flash is changing trajectory. They're just like, yeah, nah.
Yeah, it's a little bit too crowded here for me.
But we do have EVOS Phoenix actually looking to drop in as well. So we could see a very early fight amongst Anxiety and EVOS. We do have Expand right next to one of the players from Attack All Around. This might just be more of a scouting move or maybe a quick pick-off if they're lucky, but I don't think we're seeing any more hot drops there. So it's mostly the high-tier loot zone here. So let's take a look, Victor. We're going to be seeing Anxiety's point of view. They're going up against some Goliaths here. It's a big ask, but if they can do some critical damage to EVOS, this is going to be a big morale boost for the team.
Indeed it is, and you know, just getting the loot in this high value loot zone is very, very important here to ensure dominance over this round here. So this is literally a fight to see who's going to be on top on this map here, ladies and gentlemen. Flash now also getting to the mix here. I see a couple of members also walking in straight to try to fight out with Anxiety, as now Yanbin and Shomai tries to fight it out. First blood having already been taken actually by a completely different team there, taking it onto Expanse, but the fight still continues nevertheless. Here it's Shomai gets taken down on his knees right now. Anxiety down to 2 players, and they're quickly trying to make their way to the revive point now to bring the team back into play.
There's too many people here though. I mean, Flash has actually come back into the high tier loot zone, so maybe they're going to be the ones to sort of protect Anxiety and let them get the revive, because yeah, Anxiety are out of there. They're not going to bother with that one. I think it's just too close to the action.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with the team later on. But for now, Flash, they're the ones that are going to be in trouble.
Yanbin was the first one on the outside there, and he's got caught up there as EVOS moves in to try to secure their position here on Snowfall, trying to see if they can flush out the rest of Team Flash, who decides to back off. Probably a wise move on their part right now, because it's not exactly a good spot for them to try to hold a fight here. And
no.
Souza from FR takes out
DEWA
from Anxiety. So that's going to be the first team eliminated in round 2.
I saw on the map actually, so DEWA sort of like launched himself right into the team, so he was dead on arrival as he got there. Very, very unfortunate though. I mean, Anxiety, they tried to go for high tier loot zone. They weren't able to compete with EVOS. So yeah, just sometimes you take those risks and it's just going to be a 50-50. Firstly, can you get the good guns? Secondly, are you going to be able to get those shots in? And it just didn't go in favor of Anxiety. So first team already done and out. But I am a little bit worried for everyone else though, right? Because you've now given the high tier loot zone to potentially the strongest team in the competition.
Exactly, and let's see what EVOS will be able to do with that power that they've just gained now. The circle has already come out, smacking that right in the middle here, so I don't foresee any teams having to make some major movements here, as we are riding aboard with Flash right now. Shin trying to run around under the shadow of a UAV right at the moment at Militia. Just probably trying to find some loot now that they were forced out of that high tier loot zone. But I think what's fortunate for them is that there's not much encounters to be had at this stage right now.
Yeah, actually just looking at the map in general, I mean, everyone's sort of dodging everyone at the same time. Like, we've got NIGMA spread out. They've got 2 players on the island. They've got 2 players at Stadium just looting up. You've got Some9 just occupying the very eastern side of the map. We've got Attack All Around, basically occupying the entire western side of the map. There's just no one there. There is Expand at Forest Red, but honestly, this team doesn't need to move. The circle looks to be a pretty centered one so far, but I am curious to see what's going to be the final destination for these final circles, right? Is it going to go south, east, west, north? Like, what's the terrain going to look like, and how these teams prepare themselves to get ready for that next upcoming circle? Do they need to go onto the high ground? Do they need vehicles? Is it going to be open ground? Do we need to loot up on glue walls? Do we need to get more snipers? Because it's going to be compound versus compound matches. We really don't know, since it's a very broad circle.
Nevertheless, though, I found it a bit interesting in NIGMA Galaxy were confident enough to just basically split their team up a bit to farm both Stadium and Vantage, the island. So let's hope they actually got some good loot there, because now they're going to be very much keeping themselves at the southern tip of the circle here. Meantime, Flash in the middle of a danger zone on the northern side, so...
Fine, there's no one there.
True. But nevertheless, that might kind of like keep them a little bit stifled when it comes to being able to spread out Fine Farm. Now that the danger zone is lifted, I think Flash is going to be free to move. They're going to be moving down southwards and towards Militia, where X is currently holed up in. And speaking of hold up, first Raiders now, I think they just encountered someone at a long distance there.
Yeah, they found Nero all by himself. So if Nero goes down, this is... I mean, it's going to be a quick drop, although Flash is nearby. So I have a feeling that if they don't get rid of Nero quickly enough, Flash might actually come in and try and third party. It could be a little bit risky.
I do see the rest of MDH actually on the carousel side, so if they want to, they could try to force an issue maybe, but...
I mean, it's early. The teams are really just not pressured to go into each other. There's enough map for everyone to move. But I do want to point out one observation we kind of saw when we had a glance at the map, right? So EARENA, our Booyah team from the last round, they are doing a very similar style compared to yesterday. Now, I'm not sure if it's just a case of a today thing. I wasn't really focusing on the team's drop points yesterday, but the team seems to be a team that likes to play in the center of the map. They don't skirt the edges. They like to find a compound. They'll stay there. If a team walks in, they'll try and go for the engagement. Is this a style that you like? Because sometimes I feel like if you're going to play like this, you're not going to really have a good time when it comes to loot, right? Because you're not going to be able to find anything new.
It's the kind of playstyle I think like a team like EARENA could afford, given they're in the top 3.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's definitely a very safe, quote-unquote kind of way of playing, where you're not really trying to go out and take more risks, right? So it's more about like, let them come to me instead. And it still very much depends on how the circles turn out as well, because if the circle ends up outside, then you're going to be forced to walk out anyway. And speaking on that...
Northeastern circle, and all the teams are there as well, so we've got a couple stragglers. They're going to have to make their way up there soon, but already, I mean, we're seeing a lot of action on the side of Expand. We've got Flash shooting at EVOS here. Sim9 still pretty quiet so far, but EARENA. So EARENA now going to make another rotation to try and jump into the very center and look for a compound. But so far we've got EVOS's point of view here going up against Team Flash. Now they have a lot of glue walls and they have a lot of rocks to hide behind, so they've got cover. It's going to be down to whether or not Flash can rush them.
Yeah, plenty of ice walls already brought up by God Cruz here to try to keep Yanbin behind.
God Cruz has no glue walls left though, so this is all he has.
Oh boy, once those break though, that means there's not going to be anything he can do. He tries to send a grenade out. That Chrono is going to be able to keep his teammate alive a little bit. Yanbin tries to run away, can't quite get away though, but then unfortunately God Cruz gets himself knocked down as well. Fortunately for him, a time turner is brought out to keep them both safe under fire right now, where the rest of the team tries to spread out to find the rest of Flash. Tries to get the shot there. Does look like he's got through the Shin though. Shin is down for the count. God Cruz gets himself knocked down yet again in this fight right now as EVOS seems to be keeping things a little bit more secure. I thought it was secure, but already it's down already now. Joyna is trying his very best to hold himself in front. He does take out the last member of Ryan from Team Flash and takes them out of the map.
That's going to be 4 kills going in the way of EVOS. Also Flash eliminated from the picture. So that means the northern side is going to be free, but now they're going to have to deal with First Raiders as their next opponents, and they are actually looking to prevent them from crossing that bridge. Now, here's the thing I find a little bit worrying here, right? You don't have too much cover for First Raiders. You've actually just got that one vehicle.
Yeah, I think they probably have to dive under the bridge if the issue gets forced, but I think conversely, EVOS could even try to just run around them, because I think if they just go westwards, they wouldn't actually encounter much resistance, and in fact, will be able to bypass the bridge completely.
Moshi's trying to get an angle. Like, he wants to try and snipe somebody. He's just not able to get that free head. Just waiting for someone. Someone just stop preening. Stand up.
Oh boy. Jonger, I think got spotted a little bit.
There's some
Tries
damage.
to get a shot. Yeah, there's some damage done. Not enough to knock him down completely though, but he's still bringing the fire down there. Already blowing up some of the items around on that bridge, but not quite getting the knockdown he's looking for. He gets a couple more hits on the Jonger now, but doesn't seem to be able to keep him down and stuck on that bridge yet. Nevertheless, ice walls are going to be brought. Moshi's going to try to break them as quickly as he can with his sniper, and he does get a knockdown at the Dark Law. So, and he takes him out as well.
Yeah, that bridge was a pretty difficult position to defend, right? Like you're relying completely on that one vehicle to protect you or your glue walls. And if you're using glue walls, that's going to be resources you don't have access to later. So now the team is reeling, they're backing up, and on the other side, it's EARENA. So we could be seeing a really sticky situation for this poor team. First Raiders about to get raided by EARENA on the other side. Now this could be the saving grace. It sort of depends on who focuses on who right now. But so far, position advantage going in favor of EVOS. They have now conquered the bridge. But the thing is, do they know that EARENA is here? I don't think they have any view of this team yet.
Not at all, but then it can certainly be aware that, you know, it's getting very crowded in the circle right now, so they certainly will be expecting trouble up ahead. NGX in the meantime finding a shot onto Fickery from Sem9, and NGX getting even more kills there. Newbie getting taken out with the Mag 7 now. DEWA in the meantime getting some hits onto all attack all around as well. That's another fight that's happening on the southern side. Yeah, and Sem9 is down to only one member left, which is Raja here, and he's going to be getting the heck out of dodge here.
Look at attack all around, unfortunately going to go down. It was actually FALKY that was their last player, so him being eliminated means that that team is now no longer in the running for that booyah. We're still down to 9 teams left though, so this has been a pretty, I want to say, marathon of a game. Everyone's being rather patient. I think not as patient as last game, but teams are still sort of restraining themselves. They're not going for any craziness. Although we saw DEWA, they've just driven in and EARENA just shut them down! 2 players went down! Oh, what a disaster of a play. Why would you bring a car to a gunfight?
He thought he could provide some cover, I guess, but MDH is also around the corner and then already keeping them suppressed from the center of the circle there. In the meantime, DEWA now stuck on the outside. Rain, the last member left, is going to have to use up all of the glue walls he has in his possession, which is 8-7 now, in order to try to maneuver out of this crossfire here. But he's got Axis on the left, he's got MDH on the right, and that's a lot of resistance he's going to be facing before he could even think about getting close to that safe zone.
Yeah, he's, oh man, I don't even know how you go into the safe zone here if you're DEWA. You're just sort of praying that someone else attacks the other team, and then it gives you an opening to go in. But look at this open ground. You've got a couple of trees. I mean, your character hitbox is probably bigger than this tree, so you don't have much to hide behind. And MTH, they've got this rock to work with as well, so they've got an amazing piece of cover here to work with. So we'll have to see if Axis and I guess even DEWA, can they squeeze on through? Because it now is down to MDH. Can they get those kills off before the players get too close?
I mean, it's just watching out for Axis, trying to creep their way into the safe zone while the blue zone rolls in around them. Don't Cry tries to get a shot into the Flame 7 before the blue zone inevitably consumes him as well. Now he's going to be moving position into the house now. Perfect cover for them. Now they just continue to reposition themselves, still wanting to try to keep Axis completely gatekept at this point, but already watching out for the other teams that have already made their way into the next circle. Yeah,
MDH looking to cut down Axis Esports, who unfortunately are completely relying on glue walls, and I think that's Sem9 going to be the final team, sorry, the final player, Raja, going down. That's going to be them down and out. And unfortunately for FR, Eclipse and Axis, all these teams just not able to get into the circle. DEWA United in 6th place, all these teams dropping like flies because there's just not enough space for anybody anymore.
You know what? This really benefits though EVOS right now because they're coming in from the bridge side. Seems to have already taken care of EARENA pretty well because it's still looking like a full squad moving to that next circle, but NGX has already made their way to the eastern side as well, so they're trying to fire at them from across the aisle here. EVOS now
trying
having
to get
some
rid
cover.
of August, that last player left on EARENA. This is sort of revenge, isn't it, right? He was looking to get the revenge here onto EARENA. Although it is a very slow fight as their glue walls. There are still more glue walls. He's like, yeah, nah, man, you're not taking me, not me alive. Unfortunately, he's going to tick out to the blue zone, which is unfortunate. But this does mean we're going to be now left with our last teams, right? So we got MDH in the southern section. Northwest, we have EVOS Phoenix. And on the eastern side, we have NIGMA. Although EA, they're going to try and get in there, but no, eliminated to the blue zone. Position-wise, who are you favoring? Like, NIGMA is right next to MDH.
I think NIGMA is having good position there with that tower, so that's actually providing quite a bit of cover. Nevertheless, though, they're trying to gatekeep EVOS into the next one here. There's not going to be any more circle here. This is the coming to the final circle now, and when the timer comes down, that means they're going to be moving in close to each other. MDH gets caught on the side, though, so now it's going to be EVOS versus NGX. NGX now, Caramel moving moving forward with the glue walls as cover as he tries to get some shots onto EVOS here.
He
From a
has
distance,
one left.
gotta have to watch out for the sniper rifle though. He does send in a good grenade to keep Moshi under control there. Gets a good hit onto Edina, and that's actually putting him down to half health as his teammate follows up the shots there, keeping them pinned behind that tree.
Yeah, EVOS don't have anything to hide behind. I'm surprised that they're not leaving the tree, so I'm assuming that they don't have any glue walls to play with. It's actually down to NIGMA unless they get taken down.
Whoa,
That's it.
what? Like that? EVOS somehow fights back despite not having the ideal kind of cover. They found the shots onto NGX and takes the booyah for themselves.
It looked like NIGMA were the ones that were sort of encroaching onto EVOS's territory, but it really just came down to getting those lethal shots, right? They got the lethal shots. There were 3 players left on the side of NIGMA. As soon as you have 2 players get knocked down, I think that was basically it, right? Like, you don't... It's 1 versus 3! You know, like... There are very few situations where you're going to be winning a 1 versus 3, and this just wasn't it. But EVOS Phoenix, I think some people were sort of expecting this team to come back today. I mean, it's happened.
Yep, here we go again. Flawless victory. And even took down EARENA to boot as well before getting to the final circle. So they're really trying their very best to keep themselves up in that top spot, isn't it?
Bounty? I don't know how to end this. Like, bounty claimed? Bounty? Whatever. It's like. They claim their bounty.
Redeemed.
Probably. You can't redeem the bounty. You gotta do the bounty, you know? Like, bounty complete. There we go.
Okay.
That's what I was looking for. Jesus.
So, yeah, congratulations to EVOS Phoenix there for pulling out a rabbit out of the hat in that final circle there, taking on...
Excuse me, it's a tiger. Pulling the tiger out of the hat.
True.
Yes.
Do I struggle to imagine how a tiger would actually fit in a top hat, though?
They have the cutest plushies, actually. I'm going to say that. So I'm not advertising, but they do have the absolute cutest tiger plushies I have ever seen. Aside the tiger plushies, though, I think this was a pretty interesting game. Again, just a very big contrast compared to the games that we saw yesterday. Yesterday, we only were looking at a few teams sort of surviving into that final circle. Now it's like, I think 5th, even 4th circle, we're looking at like, what, 10 teams? Like, it's pretty clustered going into this final area. It's no longer a race of like who gets the most kills as fast as they can. It's more of like, okay, how long can we survive before we take the silencer off?
Right, and I think that's probably a consequence of what these teams learned from yesterday's matches, because they saw that, you know, when you go for that fast-paced aggression, it seems like it's only the top team is going to be able to win it out. So they're trying to go for a more measured approach. They're trying to take things a little bit slow first, trying to ensure that they have a decent amount of farm before they go out and look for these encounters.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the standings for round 2 of today. EVOS Phoenix, they're going to be, I suppose, back in the saddle here, ending the round with 25 points. This is more or less the average number of points this team gets. Now, if anyone's concerned, it's like, why is 25 average? Firstly, I'm going to tell you all right now, 25 should not be a team's average. 25 should be the higher end of the spectrum. You know, like, this is what you would like to score, not consistently score. If you're consistently scoring this, you're an amazing team, and that's sort of what EVOS Phoenix is. But 25, like, average for the team, yeah, sure, whatever. NIGMA Galaxy, they're putting on a show as well, right? 16 points for this team. They picked up 7 kills, 9 placement points. I'm just thinking, right? So we've sort of been waiting for NIGMA to get the booyah. They were very close in that last round. But what is this team sort of missing for going to the next level, right? Because clearly something has to sort of give for them to make it, to get that booyah, to be that dominant team.
So I think what kind of made the difference in this specific round here is the fact that EVOS went for that high value loot zone. I think that was what set them up for this victory here in the final part, because again, you're having good loot. EVOS definitely had like sniper rifles they were using in that final circle, which I don't know whether it picked up in the high value loot zone or perhaps that helped them, you know, lead them towards getting those good items. I think that's what NIGMA needs to do. They need to try to prioritize finding good guns, good items that will help them in that final circle. And it seems like maybe for this round itself, I mean, they're still very consistent getting themselves in the top 3, you know, from last round to this round here. And I think there's a high chance it will be overtaking Attack All Around for that 3rd spot if they keep this kind of trend going. But I think it's just now they need to find what is it that will help them during these rounds to keep them head and shoulders above the other teams.
Yeah, because I feel like they're on the edge of actually being like one of the Holy Trinity, I'm going to call them, right? Like we've got the Holy Trinity, top 3 so far, some very scary teams. NIGMA Galaxy, they're almost there. Lots of potential. I love the way that the team plays. They're super aggressive. They are very coordinated. I'm not sure if you would agree, disagree, please, if you feel like it. But I feel like the one thing this team's sort of missing now is being able to secure kills while playing aggressive. Because we're seeing them make a lot of these aggressive movements, but when it comes to kills at the end of the day, we're looking at 7, 8 kills, which is technically higher end of the spectrum, but the top teams are getting double-digit kills every time.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm still looking at only 2 rounds so far. Maybe we'll find out by the time we get to the 3rd. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to give a thanks to our sponsors for the Snapdragon Pro Series, starting off with Snapdragon Elite Gaming for when winning matters. And winning matters a lot here at the Snapdragon Pro Series. You know that for a fact.
That's the only thing that matters, dude. It's like $30,000. US dollars, by the way. It's not just 30,000 whatever currency. It's 30,000 US dollars. Now, of course, you do need to give a shout out as well to Monster Energy for unleashing the beast. They provide us the energy to cast these games, the players to play these games, and if you haven't given Monster Energy a shot, I do recommend it. You will feel like a brand new human being drinking their stuff. I'm not kidding though. Their stuff is, it's like liquid gold if you really need it.
Yeah, there are some times where I rely on that Monster Energy to keep me energized during these casts, right?
Yeah.
So, nevertheless, we also have to give a shout out to Kachi Shop. Great deals and great steals for your top-ups when you go to kachishop.com because they offer you reloads for all your favorite games out there. So check them out at their website. Now, we're going to be taking a break, and when we're back, we're coming back with round number 3 of the Snapdragon Pro Series Challenge Season after these messages.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
They don't want it with me. You got a problem with me? Love, you don't want it with me. Man, you won't ever stop me. Who y'all really got a problem with? Who y'all really trying to solve them with? Who don't really like the sound of this? Who come with me getting down to this? You better step back, get your neck cracked, get laid down where you best step. Better check that with a fresh map, get lost now with no extract. Like, look, that's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see me eating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving up, no. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you never gonna stop me. Sound the alarm. We about to go on. You getting it wrong. Time to go off. Can't hold us back. Truth hurts, you owe us that. My truth lurks till y'all collapse. Now scoop first where your homies at. Come my team with me right now. My team's on me right now. But what you mean y'all out? It's time to weed y'all out. Okay, we coming back with a vengeance. Time to go start your engines. What is this thing y'all mention? Time for y'all stop pretending, Nah, y'all can't do that. Where your crew at? Y'all can't do that. Nah, where your crew at? Nah, man, cause now you alone. Yeah, get out of my zone. Man, cause now you alone. Love, get out of my zone. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Love, you got a problem with me.
welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Dana Lee. We're casting for you guys the third round now of day number 2. And so far, we've already seen them play on Purgatory and Alpine for groups A and B. But now we say goodbye to A for a little while now as we introduce Group C into the mix.
Yeah, so it's going to be Group A. Sorry, Group A is going for dinner, okay?
Yep.
It's dinner time now. They can go eat or they can watch the matches, whatever they want to do. It's totally up to them. But B versus C. So let's take a look at the overall standings very quickly and also discuss what we saw yesterday, because I feel like just going off the games yesterday, it did give us a bit of an insight as to what we might be expecting today. Yes, we've got the map changes, but I think in terms of power rankings, I think we're sort of on point here, especially if you take a look at what's happening on that leaderboard, right? So EVOS Phoenix, 25 points that round, back in first place. EARENA, they didn't actually manage to pick up that many points that round. They did get crippled by EVOS Phoenix, which good for EVOS because they managed to really prop up their lead again, back in first place. Attack all round, I think it was a pretty flat round for this team. We didn't really see them go off, but NIGMA Galaxy still trying to make this climb, but they're not really able to pull off a 20-pointer. And I think that's what this team really wants, to pull off a 20-pointer, take over Attack all round, and start chasing EARENA. Because we can see NIGMA is such a hungry team. They are so hungry when they play. They're so aggressive. They're the ones that rush at you. But it's just something's kind of missing from the sandwich.
I mean, missing in the sense of like, that's having something that's keeping them from being able to break into the top 3. But I do want to say though, given the consistency they have right now, I don't think I have any doubt that they will still be in that top 6 by the end of this first phase of the challenge season.
Oh, top 6, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, I think.
Yeah.
But then now coming to Group B and C, I want to see whether it says ALFAINK is going to be able to rise up a lot more now. So, because we haven't seen them quite yet, have we?
No. So SES ALFAINK is here. They actually got a booyah during the B versus C round yesterday, and this is, you could even say this is technically the top contending Indonesian team right now. So they're holding the Indonesian flag, the torch, high and bright. But they didn't end the day very well yesterday, right? In the A versus C matchup, they did terribly. So I'm kind of hoping they can figure out what happened yesterday, and when they go into that matchup, they can sort of ring that flag up high and be like, hey, we're still here, you know? We are not a one-hit wonder. But of course, yeah, so Group C, we do have a couple other teams to look out for, right? We saw Heavy do a pretty good job yesterday. EVOS Divine actually did a reasonable job as well. And I think V Gaming, this is another team that's starting to show some potential. The 2 lagging teams, I want to say, is probably FARANG and King of Gamers. These guys haven't really shown much. I'm not sure if it's a case of maybe they just weren't happy with their performance, maybe yesterday was the wrong day, or of course map thing, but we know for Farang that Kalahari is technically their map, so I'm not sure what sort of happened with the team here.
Might be a bit of like first day jitters, maybe just a little bit in case of that.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, for the teams we have to watch out here, I mean, of course, Expand being like one of the premier teams in the NMSP region here, certainly is going to be one to watch out for. Sales ALFAINK here from Indonesia. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to how they perform this round here. And of course, EVOS Divine, which is the sister team of EVOS Phoenix here, they're going to be looking to put themselves up into the board as well.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to jump into the game very soon, but of course we do need to give a shout out to our amazing sponsors. Firstly to Monster Energy, for the ones to be giving us all of the energy, not just for us, but the players, and of course you all watching as well, because without them we wouldn't be able to unleash the beast, because we only play the best when we are in a beast mode, right? Like who plays well in just like this little happy mode, you know? You gotta be angry, you gotta be hungry, you gotta be the one that wants to get those kills. Okay, how do you kill things when you're not a beast? But speaking of beasts, we are also looking for our top 12 beasts from the competition, because ultimately they're going to Jakarta for the grand finals, Victor.
Yeah, that's gonna be so exciting there, especially if you are a Free Fire fan. You don't want to miss this out. 4th to 5th of February of next year, because February is already over for 2022, obviously.
Yes.
So We're gonna be seeing you guys next month here. Sorry, next year. Next year's second month. So make sure you guys mark your calendars. Make sure you guys book your tickets or book your time essentially, and make sure you guys have a slot just for us here in Free Fire for the Snapdragon Pro Series, because we're coming on ground to Jakarta with the top 12 teams to fight it out to see who is the best.
Yeah, it's going to be so exciting. So yes, 4th and 5th of February. Hopefully we're going to be seeing all of your wonderful faces on that broadcast when we do go live with that. Now, next game 1, technically game 3 of the day, but game 1 of this set. It's B versus C. We're going back onto Purgatory. Now, from my observations from yesterday's games, compared to A and B and C, it seems to be a much more relaxed grouping, but I also feel like the power gap between the teams are a little bit more even. So compared to A and B, I do feel like A is a little bit of a stronger grouping than B, but B compared to C, I think it's pretty even, outside of a couple teams that might be lagging behind. But of course, I'm open to seeing some change, and I'm also open to seeing these teams drop in. So let's see if we start with any hot drops. And of course, who's going to be going into that high tier loot zone?
A little bit farther out from the flight path this time around, though, and we're already seeing plenty of teams very much focused on that right-hand side. In the meantime, that's King of
EVOS.
Gamers and EVOS already getting into it on the island here in the moat, and things are already kind of falling apart a bit for EVOS, though, as King of Gamers gets a couple, three knockdowns. Give me Kevin77, the only person left, to try to stand his ground, but King of Gamers, they're the ones who gets taken down instead.
Oh my goodness, I thought King of Gamers would have had it, but EVOS Divine are going to be able to bring their entire team back into the fold. Oh my gosh, they didn't even get any kills after that.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, EVOS, they've stress, okay? The ultimate level of stress. But we do have another fight happening here, right? We've got 3 teams actually competing for the high tier loot zone. We've got FARANG going up against Heavy, and there is actually another team. Is that EARENA?
I think that's one of the members of EARENA.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the other ones are across the river, and maybe it's just at the pier there. So they're just sending one member out to scout out and see
and
if we can
pressuring
third party and keep the pressure on this campsite. But I have to say, though, campsite very wide open. There's only trees for cover, so I don't know what kind of maneuvering ability he's going to be having around here. You can see that one of the teams is just basically keeping Heavy, just keeping them stuck right on that buy point there, and they're just not going to let go of that spot no matter what right now. That's forcing I think forcing the other teams to just walk out of that area here, because they can't really find any other places to loot around.
Unfortunate for EARENA, they've lost 2 players, and I think they've got 1 buy point there with August, so probably looking to try and go for a revive. But we are swapping over to another perspective here, and it looks like if they can get a clear vision, they might be able to try and go for this fight here. Flash about to run right into the Axel, who is spotting for the team on the side of Expand.
Yeah.
And they do have some vision, but no one's gone down quite yet.
Not quite yet. And the thing is, there is a revive point nearby, so they could perhaps just collapse onto Team Flash immediately, just take whatever casualties in this fight there, hopefully be able to overcome them, and then later on bring your teammates back with a revive point. The main thing is that they need to keep them contained within the building, though, and that's what Cobra is doing on the opposite side, just keeping an eye out on the windows, trying to spot their movements, trying to see if there's going to be any sort of attempts here from Flash to try to escape this surround here that Expanse is trying to set up onto them. Now, it's going to send a grenade right through. I don't think that gets into the window. The too fast is flying Shin around the outside, though. That might just open up the floodgates, because the rest of Expanse will be falling in and into the building now. The Axel going up, guns ablaze here, getting another knockdown here. Now he tries to find Bloody around the outside here as Cobra takes a lot of damage there, and it's forced to try to hide behind a pillar as Yinbin, still on the 2nd floor, is going to try to hold his own on the window. Now moves up to the rooftop, trying to get some high ground here in this fight.
Oh, the grenade doesn't go in. Oh, X-Ray actually going down. Oh my goodness, maybe this could be a bit of a turnaround here. Is there a chance? No. Team Flash, the entire team gets eliminated. I mean, positioning-wise, I think Expand did a fantastic job at just hounding in on that building. Flash could not go anywhere. I think every angle was basically under pressure, so they either had to commit to Expand or play defensively, and it's just as defensive as they could get. There just wasn't any safe corners.
Yeah, I mean...
It really started with Shin, right? Like, as soon as Shin went down, that was basically it. The Axel ran in, he bum rushed right into them, and I think that was basically it, right? Like once you've got someone running into you, you know that things are going to start collapsing.
And that's the thing. It's like once you know you have the advantage in numbers, you have to.
Yeah,
you already have to go in.
Yep.
You have to go in already, and you could see that they all use the shotguns, the Mag 7 as well. So they definitely were very well prepared for this particular siege here. So well done, X-Man.
Are we looking at a potential flank here? Okay, so we've got, interestingly enough, we're actually seeing EARENA sort of spread out. Now we did see one of them, is that the last Farang person? It is! So poor Bayet's on the side of Farang, actually being hounded by 2 players on the side of EARENA. We'll have to see later on if they do successfully take him down. But besides that, though, taking a look at the map, everyone's sort of spread out. We might see Attack All Round run into Anxiety, but Attack All Round are also pretty spread out. So if anything happens, let's say Hoisang or maybe Folky get taken down early, those are going to be free kills because you're not going to get the reses up. They're too spread out.
Oh my god, Bayet taking so much damage from the throwables there. I don't think it's going to be long for this world though because the blue zone is already closing in. I don't see a way out for him at this point though.
He's slowly healing. He's like, no, I'm the last survivor, never.
Oh man, but the shut up is already moving down below him, so he's going to come up now. Knock knock, who's there? Bayet is right by the door.
Shotguns?
And shotgun to the face will end his round right here.
Yeah, that's... If you're alone and you're in a watchtower, you know it's over. You know?
Yeah,
it's like,
pretty much.
It's like you just decided to like step into your coffin, shut the door yourself. I was like, all right, bury me alive. All right, so moving on though, we do have a potential engagement here, right? So we've got EARENA sort of coming in, but on top of them, it's V Gaming. So we could actually see a fight if EARENA sort of run into them. Now, I don't think V Gaming are moving, so they might actually catch wind of EARENA first. We'll have to see soon though, but we've got some vehicles on EARENA, so they might spot them out first. I'm not 100% sure. We don't know how much visibility they have, right? Like, that's the most important thing. Do they know that V Gaming is here at this buy point?
They may be able to hear footsteps, though it's a little bit hard to hear them at a distance.
Yeah, it's a bit far.
But they do know that Campsite Hills have a buy point, so maybe they want to try to approach it a bit cautiously. That's why we're kind of seeing them, you know, doing this little round around. But looks like they're going to be moving very rapidly over the campsite. That might bump them straight into V Gaming, though, as a result, though. And I think they already spotted blue wall, so they knew they're not alone in this area here. As Purgatory literally runs one over with his motorcycle.
Well,
Purgatory with 2 kills there in a row, just literally crashing the party here and takes out V Gaming Esports practically by himself.
Oh my gosh, I think we have to start calling them Roadkill Gaming. V Gaming, they just get flattened, sent to the Waffle House, and it's like, all right, order up, folks. Whipped cream cherry on top. We do have a lot happening in this new circle, though, as it looks like so far it is overpopulated. There are too many humans on this planet Earth, and there's just not enough room for everybody here. So position-wise, I mean, this is just a giant salad. There's just literally so many teams here, but I'm surprised that no one is shooting. You know, it's a ghost town. Everyone's so close to each other. You could probably feel everyone breathing. Oh, goodness. But who goes for the first shot, though? Expand is going to be centering around the river, it looks like. SCS, they do have the northern side of the map, so they are going to be able to circle the perimeter if they want to. I wonder if EARENA could be a pretty big factor, right? Because they're coming in from the outside. They do have to deal with gatekeeping, but I think if one of these teams actually try to shoot into EARENA as they come in, they're giving away their position as well. And because everyone is so close to each other, you are at high risk of someone just deciding to bum rush you.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, a bit of a standoff between Anxiety and EVOS, though. It looks like EVOS...
I love this position here for Bayern.
So high up. They can just basically spot the entirety of Anxiety when they decide to move out of this compound here. So Anxiety certainly will be feeling a bit anxious if they know this right now, because bullets can certainly rain on them at any moment now.
Just waiting for that pixel. You know, that one pixel.
I mean, the good news for them is that they're still within range of this circle right now. The thing is, this blue zone is already closing in on this next zone here.
Ooh, EARENA running into heavy.
Yeah, running into heavy on the south eastern side right now, but EVOS continue to hold position. Now we can see
it's
Heavy.
a hill.
It's a hillside here, and Heavy is having a bit of a hard time trying to fight this out. Though that's a good shot there by Buffalo to try to take Limit down. Now tries to watch out for his flank though, because Tay is already moving in, trying to kick down Buffalo, trying to break his glue wall here. He says no one just in the nick of time though, but then is he going to be able to stand his ground for much longer here? Because it looks like EARENA is slowly trying to chip away and trying to make an opening for them to try to flank around.
They're trying to bail. I think they're trying to bail. You know, he's like, all right, there's no way we can get into this safely. We're going to have someone go in with the bike, try and find a buy point. We're going to try and buy our team back, right? Because it is a 3 versus 4 situation. They lost one player in that fight. And Heavy, I mean, there's really no reason for them to go for the engagement. So instead, circling the perimeter, going up towards that northern section. So we've got a signed peace treaty between these two teams for now. We'll see who breaks it first. But Heavy are about to run right into DEWA, right? Like DEWA is right there. Do they see where Heavy is coming from? Man, this is such a clustered circle.
I know, it's so crowded now. There's definitely not enough space for all of them involved, so they're going to have to start thinning the herd sooner rather than later.
Ooh.
EVOS now making their way to the next circle, I think, but it's still having the high ground advantage compared to Anxiety at this point, though. Beyond still trying to keep things, you know, very much visible for them, but then the next circle, it still literally keeps EVOS within.
I love this.
Yeah, with this zone here. So Beyond's going to stay on that rooftop, just jumping from cliff to roof.
Ooh.
And
Hang on.
Heavy is moving in on this position too, so they might actually backdoor. EVOS is not careful. I think they've already spotted them though. This might be an engagement here between the two of them.
Could be a surprise. Oh, but we are looking at a different fight here, Victor. So we've got EARENA. They've got all their players back onto that field, and they've actually decided to run into attack all round and expand. This team is now currently pinned, so this could go badly if they make one misplay.
Yeah, EVOS getting a nice grenade there. Actually takes out Fudai from Heavy right now, so they're having a bit of a man disadvantage here in this hillside fight. Thing is, EVOS is also not quite doing well for themselves. Already lost Beyond their match game, bring Mr. OS5 back into the fight now. So the bet is still going to be a 3v3 here, as we see Heavy trying their very best to hold their own, but I think Buffalo is the only person left standing there. In the meantime, for EARENA, they're still trying to fight it out here together with attack all around, still having a full stack here because the cover provided by these buildings is just enough to keep them out of trouble here. And good thing for them as well, because
there goes Heavy.
There goes Heavy. They're getting completely taken out there, and they're now out from the map here, with the last member, Buffalo, having been shot to death. EARENA still trying to hold his own as Protote has picked up a quadra kill right now, having knocked down another member here, just trying to get into the circle. Attack all around though, they're going to be peeling out of this battle here, as we're already seeing Expand and the other squads starting to move into this next circle.
It's pretty interesting choices for some of the team. So SCS, they did go for a safe position. They're going to be sitting on the western side because everyone is coming from the eastern. EVOS Divine, though, are rotating up north, which is pretty clear, but they are possibly in shooting range here of attack all round. But Expand, they're going to be shooting, or at least raining hell here onto DEWA, as these two teams do decide to go into each other. There's a tiny compound. Only one team is going to be able to claim this. DEWA now down to 2 players, as 2 players have gone down. Can they wrestle this compound away? I don't think so. Expand are still looking rather strong.
Yeah, there was down to 2 people here. Expand still has 3, and 2 Fires has already gotten 2 kills in his hand. It's trying to gatekeep the other member of Rain.
That's it.
He's down. DEWA's out. DEWA, 7th place is going to be the best they could get in this round right now. 6 teams still remaining. EARENA trying to get some shots onto EVOS here, who's decided to join the fray. They had been on the outskirts of the circle earlier on, but then now they've lost virtually everyone except for Abax.
That next circle, big advantage for Anxiety. They're sitting in the very corner, and now we're going to be seeing attack all round running into SES. SCS, they want to take this away from attack all round. Falky, oh no, he's actually stuck running into the wall. This might not be so good for the team. He's the last person left on the squad. But who knows? Maybe if he pretends to be a couch, he might be able to survive. Who knows?
Maybe.
But this is going to be a really tight squeeze. We've got to Expand fighting up with with EARENA here to try and get into the circle from that bottom section. Unfortunately, attack all round will get eliminated. Falky not quite working with the couch strat. EVOS, though, surprisingly enough, are still on the outer edge of the circle. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. Are they trying to avoid the conflict?
I think so. I mean, he's only moving now that the circle is already moving for that final round here, so he's going to try to edge around that safe zone here while the other teams continue to fight at the center of this next circle here. EA, they're down to 2 members now with the limit already taken down by Axel, sending a good grenade his way now as they try to press issue, rushing straight into the room. Oh boy, the glue wall just keeping that at bay, just barely though. A Shut Up tries to find a way out of this mess here, but Gade sends another grenade, forces Cobra to stop in his tracks right now as Shut Up jumps outside, sends the glue wall, moves to the next building here.
He's dodging so many fights, it's actually insane. This guy juking into every compound he can get. He's going to try and go onto the high ground, see if he can get his own shots in, but we are starting to see these teams run out of space. Victor, you can't rely on the compounds anymore because this circle is going to start taking your health away. EVOS Divine will be eliminated from the competition. SES looking to make this torch really bright here for Indonesia. They did fantastic yesterday. We might be looking for another potential booyah for this team. They are sitting on 6 kills. They're not leading the kill charts, but they might be able to if they can survive and eliminate EVOS Divine. They're now going to try and gatekeep Anxiety, who are now just stuck behind a tree. Where did their compound go?
I have no idea, but then the thing is, Anxiety now has lost 1 in the form of Stromae, as SES still has 4 members, I believe. Expand getting taken out there. Ray and Bara getting kills themselves as Jojo gets a good shot there to take down go to be from Anxiety. Now it's going to be a bit of a scuffle around the outside of the building as SES and Anxiety collapses on each other, and it looks like Anxiety might just have a slight upper hand. Oh, they do take out 1 member here from SES, another one there. Ray is going to be knocked out as well. ALFAINK is going to be a bit in trouble right now as Anxiety seems to be having the upper hand in this fight.
This inner circle is going to be on the outside, so at some point these players are going to have to exit this building to survive because now you don't really have anything to work with. Everyone is outside. They say we're not jumping the window. It is a 1v1 all around. Is it going to be enough? The SES taken out is now going to be down to EARENA and Anxiety. Can EARENA take this round, or is Anxiety going to keep themselves composed? EARENA snatching away the booyah from Anxiety. It would have been an amazing round, but no, the Juggernauts have just managed to scrape by.
Oh man.
Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. The smiles. I saw one of the players piping their foreheads. I saw someone facepalm. Oh my goodness. Wait, someone's got a bow. The lucky bow.
Oh yeah,
right
I
there.
see that right there on the left-hand side.
That's a lucky bow if I ever saw one.
Oh man, can you imagine the like tension in that room when it was down to the 1v1v1?
Yes.
Literally down to the solo members there to try to determine which team picks up the booyah there.
I feel a little bad for Anxiety though, right? Because when they went into that, they had 2 players alive. I thought that they might have had it with the numbers game, but it's just... Okay, here's the thing, all right? These players are the best in their regions, but everybody gets impacted by nerves. And looking at how Anxiety played, I definitely think the jitters started to kick in.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising as well because given like the circumstances that like for the most part we saw them kind of quietly hiding in their compound and then only deciding to pick up the fight in this final circle here. So definitely they were trying to they were building up the tension already by that point. I wouldn't be surprised if the tension kind of overboiled by the time they got to those final fights. So can't really blame them for that. But you know, again, when you're in this kind of competition, you have to expect this level of pressure, don't you?
Yeah, I mean everyone is expecting it. It's just a different story when it actually happens. You know, how can you keep your composure? What are you going to be able to do in that split second? Because you are asking your players to think a lot in the span of a fraction of a second. Do I go left? Do I go right? Can I put this glue wall down? Is it going to hamper my teammate? Is it going to cut the enemy off from going into the circle?
Is Protete going to run you over a motorcycle? You know, these are things you have to consider sometimes in these games.
Are you going to work for Waffle House? You don't know. Oh, jeez. I mean, I love this, you know?
Yeah.
So compared to Group A and B, I do think B versus C, especially once you start seeing these teams get really clumped together, super action-packed because the skill level between these 2 teams, I think, very much is close. really close.
I mean, you can already see that with like the fact that so many teams were able to make it this final circle here, and we're already seeing just kind of like the skill level, actually, the individual skill level kind of made the booyah in this final round, in the final circle here. So EARENA comes home with the bulk of the points there with 20 points, but says ALFAINK not too far behind with 17 points. So does Anxiety. Even though they lost out in that 1v1v1, they still managed to come home with a haul of 16 points.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Anxiety, you'd be pretty happy, especially considering their current position on the leaderboard. They're not really in the running to make it to the top half, but maybe we could start seeing a change for this team. Maybe they've started to figure things out. They've found something that's worked for them. I mean, the most important thing, right, is that you make it into that final circle so that you have a chance of locking in all those kills. You have a chance of getting the placement points, because if you get knocked out early, I mean, what do you get? 0 points, 2 points, 3 points? It's not much.
I mean, Anxiety has had 9 points compared to Expand's like 7 and 6 placement points respectively there for Expand and EVOS Divine. So,
although, can I say props to Heavy, right? This Heavy only got 3 placement points, but they got 7 kills.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kills.
That's a lot of kills, for sure.
It's pretty insane. But we are going to take a look here at EARENA, because, of course, this is the team that is competing with EVOS Phoenix for first place. Like, this is basically the time for EARENA to shine. If you want to take that first place away, you got to grab all those points. Now, with EVOS out of the picture, not EVOS Divine, okay, EVOS Phoenix, because I have to play with Divine now. This is where you want to try and grab as many points as you can. Ideally, they try and hit the average, or at least the same average as EVOS Phoenix. But I mean, 20 points in a round, I guess it's fine. It's good enough. You know, they're guaranteeing that second place, $20,000 release.
Yeah, fitting the theme for sure there for EARENA. But like you said, you know, this is a chance for them to actually try to edge away at that lead that Phoenix has before they inevitably come back when we see the A versus C match later on.
Yeah,
this is just an opportunity for them to get those points, especially in the grouping that's a little bit more, like you said, more evened out in terms of skill level, and definitely a lot more opportunities there to get those kill points.
Yeah. Well, we do have another opportunity, Victor, right? Like, we've got Alpine coming on next. We've only had 1 game for B versus C. So that's right, we've got 1 more to go. It's going to be Alpine. I mean, the map's a little different, but I am looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in this next round. But before that, we are going to let the players get ready and jump into the lobby. So, of course, we're going to use this moment as a break. So, as always, if you have to go to the toilet, grab your snacks, do so now, but make sure you're back in 5 minutes for game number 4.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Snapdragon Pro Series. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Danilee. We're going to be bringing you guys round number 4 now, and that's the second round. We're going to be seeing teams B and C, sorry, Group B and Group C fight against each other.
It's a really exciting one. I think so far this grouping has probably been the most exciting. Not to counter A and B. I just think that A and B, it really seemed skewed in favor of A for the majority of the set, but I mean, I could be wrong. But this is a very, very exciting set. I do like this. So B versus C is their last game. Let's take a look at the overall standings, because now every grouping has played at least once, right? The only thing is teams in Group B have played 3 games now, so they do have a bit of a point advantage. They will drop down to their placements later today. But for now, though, we do see a bit of a rise. Not complete rise. EARENA just closing that gap between them and EVOS Phoenix. Now, they only got 20 points that last round. They needed about 20... How many points is that? They needed 30 points, actually. No, 25. Yes, there we go. My maths is on point. 25 points that round if they wanted to tie with EVOS Phoenix. Now, they didn't get 25. They got 20. It was pretty close, but very much within reach of taking that first place away, assuming EVOS Phoenix do terribly in their last 2 games, which the probability of that happening is probably 5%.
Really low.
It's pretty low.
Definitely pretty low. And again, like EARENA, they have to consistently be like 20 or above, to really match the averages we've been seeing from EVOS Phoenix since yesterday. But, speaking about the climb, ALFAINK making themselves up to the top 6 now. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting. I mean, this is the Indonesian representative. I will have to point out, though, I think EVOS Divine is another team that we kind of have to look out for, right? Like, all it takes for them to catch up is a Booyah, and then there'll be, I'm not sure if they'll tie with SES ALFAINK or if it could maybe take over, but Indonesia not looking too bad themselves. The only representative to make top 6 so far for the Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines region is Expand, and they're pretty close to NIGMA Galaxy, although unfortunately NIGMA have 2 more games to go and Expand only have 1.
Yeah, so I mean, Expand's just gotta have to make most of like this next round here to see if they can, maintain that spot. But with other teams already starting to catch up here, you can get the sense of the competition getting a lot stiffer as the days go on here in the Snapdragon Pro Series.
You need to pop off, right? Like all it takes for some of these teams to either catch up or to lock their position is to go off and pick up that 20-pointer. The Booyah, and then roughly Booyah teams generally get like 7 or 8 kills on average, unless you're EVOS Phoenix and you just pick up like 13, 14, 17 sometimes kills. You do whatever you want to do, whatever it takes.
I mean, it's kind of like talking about Phoenix in this context is kind of like talking about the Mongols in like world history. Everything that usually works for other civilizations doesn't quite apply to the Mongols. So by that extension, EVOS Phoenix a little bit of an exception, I think, in this competition.
I suppose. But they're not playing this round. They're playing next round. So I'm looking forward to seeing if someone can potentially top the Titans, or if someone can find out what the kryptonite is, because clearly their playstyle is just works, and no one has been able to counter it per se. But we'll speak about them a little bit later on. They're not playing, but we are ready to jump here into Alpine game number 4, final game for groups B and C. Let's see who takes the Booyah this time. Is it going to be EARENA yet again, or is someone going to be able to snatch it away? Now, the blue zone is going to be sitting in the top right-hand corner on Railroad, and a couple of teams have been gunning for the blue zone, but it looks like we're looking at a pretty even spread. We've got one engagement happening in the bottom corner of the map, DEWA going up against V Gaming, and it looks like we do have a couple teams gunning for the high tier loot zone. It's Heavy and King of Gamers.
But the thing is that with the blue zone being that far, like in the front, far from that, not so far, but like very much down where the flight path is, means that all the other teams will have ample opportunity to jump out early and get some early loot there. So I wonder if you really want to sacrifice, the chance for getting loot here just to be able to take control over the high tier loot zone. Heavy in the meantime getting double kills here. King of Gamers not looking too healthy at this point right now. Well, in the meantime, VGM still locked in a bit of a battle right now. Vantraz trying to chase DEWA right out onto the rooftops here. Vero's gonna get caught right out there in the middle. Not much could do, punching him all the way while he's still down. In the meantime, King of Gamers gets himself eliminated by Heavy in this fight here. The first team to get eliminated from this map.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I mean, they did contest for high tier loot zones, and sometimes it does happen, but we still have DEWA here going up for this little skirmish. Now, so far, it's okay. It looked okay until I take that back. VGM coming in with the backstab. Perfect backstab as well, but actually on the other side of the map, EVOS are going to be fighting up against Team Flash, and DEWA now down to their final player. It's all down to Rain, who's on the bridge. He's going to bail. He's going to try and go towards the vending machine, maybe try and go for the buybacks, but let's rotate to see where some of the other teams are so far, right? So V Gaming is here, but look who's encroaching on their territory. It's EARENA, the last team you want to see when you dropped into a game.
Well, they sense some blood in the air right now, given the fighting that's been happening out here. SES, in the meantime, they tried to bump into Heavy inside that blue zone.
Oh, they regret it so much.
Regret very, very much indeed. 2 people already down. Heavy now still having 3 people. They did lose Buffalo during that last encounter, but they still have plenty to fight for here in this blue zone because there's plenty of loot to go. And in the meantime, EARENA jumps straight onto VGM here, getting the knockdowns. VGM down to Boite and Van Tan, but then I don't know if they can hold their own though. I don't see them having any glue walls either. I think they've already used them around the outside. VGM gets a double kill there, taking out the 2 members of EARENA, leaving only 1 person left to try to run out of the zone there. There is a revive point nearby, and you can already see him immediately buy back 2 of his members.
Yep, they got the buys. They're just like, ciao, we're going to grab everyone and just go. I think there was no way they were going to get the revival point anyway, right? Like, you have to sit on top of it to get the revives. But let's see what happens if maybe Shut Up can get out of here. Or they'll have to buy him back. We'll see. Maybe he can try and get this kill in. He doesn't quite get it. The relay's there. He will get it. Perfect. So
but then
Shut
watch
Up.
out behind. Bond
I
is going
think
to come
he's got
in.
it. He's got it.
He's got it down. And unfortunately, that's going to be the end of his little run here, as he's going to be alone. And
they'll buy him back. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's gonna be fine. He's fine. They're fine. They're okay. The rest of the team's already gotten out of this situation here. So it's
he
just...
did his job.
Yeah. Job very much done. So now that that is done and over with, Heavy now reigns supreme in the blue zone here, getting plenty of loot for themselves.
And Heavy are such big winners in that overall fight because firstly they got 7 kills to their name, they got the high tier loot zone, and they managed to defend themselves from King of Gamers and from SES.
Yeah.
SES tried to invade the blue zone, which firstly, I'm going to say very ballsy because you're going up against a team that is much more equipped. Maybe they thought they'll be injured. Who knows? They came a little bit too late. But here we go. EVOS actually going to be running into an engagement here. And 2 players are currently knocked down. Flash able to incapacitate some pretty important players on the side of EVOS Divine, which leaves 1 person left.
Yeah, 1 person left stuck on the rooftop. Flash already cleaning up house here very much. Haven't really gotten up to the next floor yet, but that does mean that this last member, Evo, is just going to have to sit very pretty and hopefully out of trouble. But Bio is already coming up on the rooftop.
Oh, they know.
Beyond, yeah, they know exactly where he is. He spots him right on the rooftop there now. Just going to try to flush him out. Beyond's going to be forced to run away, and then Bio shoots him from the other side, takes him down, and takes Evo's Divine out of this round.
Oh, unfortunately. I mean, he had nowhere to go. Like, he wasn't able to catapult himself anywhere. There was some cover, but they can hear you when you're running, right? So they'll just chase after you. So yeah, pretty unfortunate for EVOS. They'll have to wait for that next round to play out. We are going to switch over to FARANG here. A team that's been very quiet, right? We haven't seen much from FARANG so far. They've either been eliminated rather early on, or they have been the victims of some pretty bad harassment from some of the other teams.
But now I think they've spotted a member of Heavy trying to encroach in the area, and I think there's already other members of Heavy making their way to this side of the circle, and you can see Farah moving in there. Is that going to be advisable though? Because Heavy, you remember, they would have been looting.
I mean, 2bad's alone, but if 2bad dies here,
there
he's
he
down.
goes. He's down.
There's no way anyone gets a revive off. He's too far away.
Yeah, and the next revive point is inside literally the high tier loot zone that Heavy's already in control of, which is the train yard. So Bayet already comes inside this house here. Has a sniper rifle, needs to get a target. Can he get it done though?
He wants a headshot. He can't get it though. He can't line it up.
Yeah, it's moving a little bit too fast.
Oh, the jump!
He tried.
He jumped. If he didn't jump, I think that actually may have been a headshot.
True.
Oh.
But now they know exactly where he is. They're already putting some suppressing fire on that window right now. But the rest of Farang, not too concerned, I think. Right now, they're trying to take this fight here, leaving Bayet to try to take whatever shots he can, while the other 2 members
He needs to leave, though. If you take a look at the map, Heavy's actually starting to encroach on that compound. So Bayet's, he's now alone. His team is in the circle. I mean, if you're Bites, you're going to be regretting your position now. You didn't get the headshot. You didn't get the kill that you were looking for. Now you're just going to get you're just going to get killed.
Yep, sunk cost fallacy. Maybe a grenade's going to be sent in. Doesn't quite do a lot of damage to the Bayet, but at least it keeps him knowing that he's being sieged up. That next one actually does quite the number of the Bayet now. Oh, he's definitely much in danger here. A grenade launcher there by Tom XT puts him on his knees. I think that's definitely much a decision that he will regret.
Yeah, just... I think if he just got that kill, then it may have been worth it, right?
True.
At least it's a 1-for-1, but he loses himself. I mean, at least his team gets into the circle, so they'll probably look into maybe trying to get a buy-in back here for Bayet, so we'll take a look at that a little bit later on. But here's the map position so far for a lot of the teams. So the circle's centering onto Militia so far, and it's an advantage here for Anxiety, who are currently centered on this map. Up top, we've got FARANG, who's sort of scouting around to see if they can find anybody. They're next to one of the players of Heavy, but not close enough to go for a full-on engagement. Expand is also sitting in the center of the map as well, looking to gatekeep Team Flash, actually. No one goes down, though, but they might be in trouble because I'm very sure the gunshots are actually what's attracting Attack All Round, who's coming in from the southern side of the map.
Yikes.
So if Expand don't expect this, I think this is going to be a very bad backstab.
Yeah, and consider the fact as well that Expand does have a bit of a high ground
Oh,
here.
they see them.
They see them. They see Attack All Around trying to move in on their position, but they know how dangerous it could be because this is literally them trying to fight a war in two fronts right now, trying to gatekeep both Flash and then now trying to defend their rear quarter from Attack All Around. Now that's forcing them to try to spend their glue walls here to try to make their approach. X-Roy is just continuing to give some shots from the distance here in order to try to keep them at bay. But how long can they hold them off though, because the next circle still falls on top of all three of them. I mean, Flash, granted, they're just a little bit on the edge of that circle right now, and All Around's inside the safe zone for the next round though, so they don't really have an incentive to move away. And we're going to see some guys trying to drop in there. Some of the teammates have been bought back into this fight, now trying to avoid the shots coming from Spade, who does spot the UAV, takes it out as well, as they are locked in battle here with Heavy on the northern side.
We've still got 9 teams in the picture so far, Victor, and 36 players. This is a lot of players to have now. And here we go. The circle is centering towards the northern section of Militia. So we do have a couple teams that are going to have to try and reposition, right? We've got Attack All Around. That's going to be pretty far from the circle. EARENA as well as V Gaming are going to have to make a rotation. And then you've got Heavy, who has to deal with FARANG, who are currently gatekeeping them from going into that inner circle. Now, I'm curious to see what Heavy's going to be able to do here, if they can either break through this defense, or maybe it could be a case of FARANG just not being able to land the shots. But here we go. Heavy, they've already lost one.
They lost one. Now Milnow is going to try to use the glue wall here to stay alive, but unfortunately kind of blocked his exit now, forced to try to break it out there. Grenade sending all around there. He's already down to a quarter of his health. He does get a knockdown on the outside though, but unfortunately can't quite hold his own while the rest of FARANG moves in there, trying to take out the rest of Heavy. They've already taken out Tom XT completely. Now Buffalo is the last member left of Heavy, and he's already running far away, but he might just run into the arms of Flash though. Brian probably will be the one to spot him out if he can just find him within range there, but I think he might just pass them by.
I mean, they might hear him, but it also depends if they might want to go for a different fight altogether. But speaking of fights, so we've got Attack All Round on the screen here with EARENA. Now, we know EARENA is going to be a very big team. Heavy, unfortunately, going to be eliminated here there by Team Flash. So Buffalo, he got shot down, sent back to the steakhouse. I don't know what you want to do with the Buffalo. But we have EARENA going up against Attack All Round. It's a 3 versus 4 situation, so numbers advantage so far in favor of Attack All Round. Oh,
Nice
it's actually going down. EARENA are about to get shut down by Attack All Round. They need to make it to top 3. They need those points, but I don't think they're going to get it. EARENA eliminated.
Folky from the outside sees the two of them trying to go scramble to get themselves back in the fight and just completely rains on the parade. Triple A now finishing them off. That's still stuck outside the blue zone though, but they will be rapidly flying their way back in.
Yeah, they're flinging themselves back in. They're just like, all right, let's go. We have the power. We've eliminated EARENA. We are good to go. But this circle, very, very small. Now, attack all round, they have actually engaged into Axis. They're waiting for Folky to sort of come in, but the circle so far favoring Farang, Flash, SES, and V Gaming. We have Expand actually going around the western side of that circle, and they're actually going to try and run into Farang, it seems. Now, there are a lot of trees, a lot of compounds to work with so far, so entry looks to be rather safe. But as for the teams that are currently gatekeeping, it's a bit of a different story, right? We've got Anxiety trying to deal with attack all around, and so far they just can't get the angle. There's just too many buildings.
Yeah, too many buildings in the way here in Militia, which is the most densely, most dense complex, I think, on the map of Alpine. So this is proving to be a bit of a disadvantage right now for Anxiety, because they have to try to run around the outside, but that's going to open them up to being shot at by VGM, who is already kind of gatekeeping them from the next circle. So a bit of a rock in a hard place right now as AAA moves in as well to try to stop Anxiety from being able to escape the crutches of, I think, Boys is going to score on the outside. Firing in the meantime, getting taken out by Expand in the meantime, though. AAA now continuing to try to keep the pressure onto Anxiety as they try to peel away right now. VGM is able to take out a shot onto one of the members of AAA, and that's putting them in a bit of a tight spot now.
That's a very tight spot indeed, but so far Anxiety are looking to try and cut into attack all round advantage. It's a 4v5 so far. They're trying to gatekeep them. It's not quite working, but it looks like Jump God, he's going to be stuck in that blue zone.
So
he needs to get out, but no, the shotgun, it's going to be enough to take him out. But in the building, we actually have Hoisang who's trying to nap some kills. He knows there's no way he gets in there safely, so he's going to try and get some kills, but he won't be able to. Jumps out the window. AAA are out of the picture. V Gaming, though, still within the zone. Going to try and get into a safer position, but they're about to run into, I think is that one player for SES remaining? No, why is he alone?
He's alone completely, and now look at that one shot from Boite with the grenade launcher takes him out completely. Now the other two members on the north side of the circle and very much focused on Team Flash.
Running into Expander, running into Flash. This is going to be terrible.
Oh, yeah, the glue wall's already brought out here. Bio trying to hold his own, but then they're right on the edge of the blue zone. Now he's going to dance around in the danger here. Risks very, very high here for Flash because they're down to Brian Gambit, taking a lot of damage here inside the blue zone. Not going to survive. Team Flash gets taken out completely. Now we're down to 4.
Expand, just bum rush them and kick them out of the competition. Now we're down to our final 4 teams. Now, unfortunately for Expand, this is an open ground. They're going to have to rely completely on their glue walls to get into that circle safely. Do they have anything that they can run towards? So a compound, a tree, a rock?
I don't see
nothing.
anything.
They've got to use their glue walls, but they're going down. They're dropping like flies. SES are just going for these picks from long range. Nobody is touching G'day.
Grenade's going to be sent down. I think Cobra's not going to be long for this world anymore. Boite is going to try his very best here to try to hold the flag
for
VGM. Anxiety getting taken out in that counter right now. So it's SES versus VGM right now. 1v3 here. The odds don't look too good for Boite at this point as he gets caught out, shut down completely. And that's the booyah going here to SES.
SES waving the Indonesian flag up high. They did a fantastic job yesterday getting the booyah. Now they got a second booyah in the exact same grouping. Indonesians are watching the broadcast going to be so happy with this. But, I mean, this was a very clear game for SES.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean,
no one. I was just watching. I mean, you saw as well, right? Like, G'day, he just got free shots. No one was targeting him.
No one's pressuring him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was sitting on the edge, popping heads like he should. You know, that's what he's supposed to do. But there was no bullets flying his way. No one was tagging him. No one was pressuring him. So he could literally just sit there and focus, trying to get those headshots.
I guess like that might be the advantage of being like the one of the lesser kind of like I say lesser. I think that's a kind of wrong word to put here, but maybe one more quieter
less
teams.
Prioritized.
Less prioritized. Yeah, basically, because I think everyone else more focused on the heavy hitters, the Thai teams. Expand was inside the mix as well, and I think that distraction was just perfect for SES because it allowed them to just pick up all these kind of like stragglers around the outside. And I think in the case of him just now, he was just basically unopposed, you know, just literally running around the edge of that blue zone there and just finding hits to pop.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you stay on the edge and you're not the first person people see, you're generally not going to be targeted. So yeah, I do agree, like the fight happened on the other side of the circle anyway. So I can see why the priority also wasn't there. But we do have some of the highlights to sort of look at here before we jump into our next grouping, because this was also our last game for B versus C. Now, concluding this, Group B are done for today. They've played all 4 of their games, and we are going to rotate back to A this time, who will play against Group C, also back onto Purgatory. But I have to say, I think out of all the groupings, B versus C, definitely the most fun for me to watch so far. But maybe I'm just being biased, you know. I've had 1 day's experience with them. I might change my mind later on, who knows.
Yeah.
But we do need to take a look at the points after that round as well. So even though V Gaming did not get the booyah though, they were able to lock in 11 kills for the round alone, which means 20 points going towards V Gaming for the end of the round. SUS ALFAINK, our team that managed to get the booyah, they only locked in 5 kills. So 17 points, it's still pretty good. I'm not saying it's bad, you know. Our expectations were set pretty high when teams started to just sort of lock in 25 points after getting the booyah. But yeah, 17 points, it's not too bad. If anything, looking at this grouping alone, it just shows how spread out everything is. Like, not all the kills are going to the top heavy teams. Not all the placement points are going to the top teams. It's rather spread across the board. The only teams that sort of struggled is King of Gamers and DEWA, but that was because they were the first 2 eliminated.
True, and I was just gonna say, like, attack around EARENA, not quite outstanding in this particular round here. You know, 9 points for AAA and 5 points only for EARENA.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a pretty disappointing round for EARENA. I think so far it was their quote-unquote worst round, but they did get eliminated pretty early. So, I mean, sometimes you're just gonna have those crummy rounds.
Yeah, so when like the RNG doesn't quite favor you,
but
or
if
just
I'm not mistaken, I think they're now officially tied in first place. Assuming EVOS don't get any points for the next 2 rounds, which I think is 99.9% impossible.
Yeah, the odds are they probably will be able to continue to get some points in these next 2 rounds here. But for V Gaming Esports, though, I think this was kind of coming to the point I was making about SES just now. I think the priority on the map there was definitely on the V Gaming more so than SES there.
Very much.
Because they were the ones getting the kills. They're the ones going out there. They got 25 headshots so far. I mean, that's a lot of like kill potential that they're already setting up for themselves here. So I think that has provided kind of like the perfect storm really for SES to just be an opportunist and actually steal the booyah from under the noses.
So you just sort of sneak in because no one's really looking at you. You're the guy where it's like, if you can kill each other, we'll kill you after.
That sounds so...
Snatch it away. I mean, okay, look, we're playing a battle royale, okay?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a scary business, but speaking of scary, it's also a very exciting one because we are going to get ready for our next matchup. But before then, we've got to thank our wonderful sponsors. Firstly, to Snapdragon Elite Gaming for putting this tournament together, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have these amazing games being played, and also the final happening in Jakarta. I'm just going to remind you all, 4th and 5th of February. Yeah, don't mark it on your calendar. Also, thank you to Monster Energy for giving us the energy to broadcast these really exciting games, because you got to unleash your beast somehow. So that's where Monster Energy sort of kicks in. And also, finally, to our final shout out here is to Kachi Shop. If you're wanting to try and top up for some of your mobile games and you don't really know who to go for, Kachi Shop is going to have your back. They'll be a very reliable partner if you do want to look at top ups. So, Victor, it's going to be done and dusted for B. I don't know if we're going to look at the overall standings now. I think we're going to go for a break first.
Yep.
But A versus C, do you think it's going to be one-sided?
I have to think so. I mean, A is so stacked, isn't it? Like a lot of really powerhouse teams in there. So I guess, you know, we'll see if that's going to come to pass here. A and C coming up after this. So make sure you guys don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop. Life like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test. Like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed. So now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'm a work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth. And I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test. Like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed. So now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'm a work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth. And I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me. How'd I turn pain into energy? Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Snapdragon Pro Series. 2 more rounds to go, 2 more groups to finish off their matches today. A and C coming up next. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Dana Lee. Are you excited for the end of the day here?
Oh, the tension rises.
Yeah.
I think we do need to sort of like discuss the elephant in the room, right? Which is Group A being pretty big contenders in general, right? Group A have been the monster group, whereas I think, especially after seeing yesterday, Group C definitely struggled. I think that's just to put it lightly. We will take a look at the overall standings here very quickly. So just to remind everybody, all the teams in Group B, they have completed all of their games, so they will no longer be moving up on the leaderboard, but they might move down depending on everyone else. Now, so far, EARENA, they did finally catch up to EVOS Phoenix, but the bad news is that they're done for today, and EVOS still have 2 more games to play. So they're not taking first place anytime soon, but EVOS will be able to just swoop away.
I think this really goes to show how dominant EVOS Phoenix was in yesterday's games. I mean, the fact that EARENA, like, even in the games where EVOS was not playing, the best they could do is literally just match up to where EVOS is, and then now there's the ample opportunity for EVOS to just continue keeping their lead here. I mean,
this is like a 2-game handicap if you think about it.
Yeah, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I think I'm glad to see that, like, says ALFAINK is still up in that top 5 right now.
They deserve it.
They definitely deserved it, especially after the last couple of rounds we saw them in, and hopefully they'll be able to continue to bring us even more stuff here, because they're still going to be coming up in these next 2 matches here. But now with Axis Esports, EVOS Phoenix, First Raiders, Eclipse, MDH, and NIGMA Galaxy, as well as Sam9 joined in the mix here. Let's see how they can handle these powerhouse of squads coming in from Group A.
Yeah, so from Group A, the big teams you're sort of looking out for is definitely EVOS Phoenix, but I also want to make a quick mention of NIGMA Galaxy. I feel like this is another team that can really make you feel pain. You know, they're not as terrifying as EVOS Phoenix, but their overall playstyle is very intimidating, and I think for some teams very jarring because they are so aggressive. Now for Group C, the team that we're kind of looking at here is really SES ALFAINK, right? We're not really seeing any other team. Like sometimes we see a little bit of Heavy, and then EVOS Divine is also sometimes there. Maybe V Gaming as well, but we're not seeing anyone outside of SES that's a shining star. That's like a really big Goliath.
I mean, that's unfortunately true, but in case, you know, we also need to talk about these other 2 squads here. Sam9, as well as V Gaming Esports, alongside with NIGMA Galaxy that we touched on early on. I think I'm really disappointed with Sam9 actually today.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did have high expectations for Sam9, but we've already seen them for 2 games today, so maybe they can go for a bit of a turnaround. But I do believe we're almost ready to jump into our 5th game. I almost said 6th game. It's actually the first game of this set, but 5th game of the day. But before that, we do want to give a quick shout out to our amazing sponsors. Firstly, to Snapdragon Elite Gaming, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this tournament happening at all. No grand final, no group stage, no regionals.
No Jakarta.
Thank you. No Jakarta.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Jakarta, Victor, I'm going to let you take over this bit.
Yeah, speaking of which, though, if you guys are in Jakarta, we're coming right for you there. The grand finals of the Snapdragon Pro Series, the Free Fire, will be happening on the 4th to 5th of February next year. So make sure you guys not only tune in, but in fact, just mark your calendars. Make your time really come out in full force to support the top teams for Free Fire in this region right now as they descend upon Jakarta to prove once and for all which one of their 12 is going to be the best in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, so make sure 4th and 5th of February, make sure you're free. That's it. That's all we're asking for. And watch the stream. That's also nothing I'm watching out for. Yep. But it's going to be super exciting. I mean, LAN settings, I think I've said this with Husky yesterday. LAN settings are a completely different monster compared to online. Because online, you play in the comfort of your own home, where you at least play in your optimal setting. Whereas at LAN, you're in a booth with the other teams. You're going to hear them screaming. You're going to hear them doing all those shenanigans. And I know some players are quite sensitive to that. Some of them need quiet environments to perform. You have other players that need that quietness to focus. So now that you're put in a stressful situation, things kind of change. And how do you adapt to that? Now, speaking of adapting, it's time to see how these teams adapt jumping into this final grouping. It's A versus C on Purgatory. Who is going where? Who is going to take the high tier loot zone? And are we seeing any hot drops?
Well, we're seeing plenty of drops happening here onto the Fire Brigade and Central there. We see Farang, Axis, and Sem9 within range there. I think Axis will be making their way across the river, though, towards the golf course area.
I love how nobody went to Quarry.
I know, right? I mean, to be fair, it was a little bit out of the way of the flight path. So, but then nevertheless, the teams that do land on that western side island certainly will have a chance to try to tackle on the Quarry zone. But Axis looks like they're already locked in battle right now with Farang on their side of the island here, though. Too bad, trying his very best to hold his own while Glue Wall keeps him from being able to get a shot in.
I think it's a bit of an awkward position for Farang. Like, they're not even in the compound. They're on the outside. And if they don't win this firefight, this is going to be them coming out with casualties. Farang, they've got no cover. Too bad.
Two down. But, I mean, conversely, though, Axis also has 2 people down at the moment, though. They do bring that exact 6-6 Raph. Unfortunately, has to bite the dirt right now, as Farang still loses another there in the form of Jembo right now. And Flame 7 brings 6-6 Raph back through the revive point right now, just in time as well, because Spade gets taken out. I think Farang has very handily lost this fight right now. Very much Axis wins it out.
Yeah, Baya, I think he's the only survivor on the team as well, so he's going to be all alone, even though they tried to go for some of those funky plays. So Axis happy with themselves. Farang has actually managed to squeak their way over to the high tier loot zone, interestingly enough. EVOS never went in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Strange. Okay.
I mean, first, what's it, FR right now makes their way into the blue zone now to try to get some good loot. In the meantime, Heavy as well as King of Gamers down to 1 member in their squad here. It looks like Heavy, they dropped in the northwestern side, whereas King of Gamers, I think they were dropping on the northeastern side there. So whichever encounter they had in that place there certainly didn't work out for them.
Looks like EVOS, to be honest. Like, that's the closest team to King of Gamers so far. So pretty unfortunate. I mean, I think I mentioned this earlier in the broadcast. So I think out of all the teams from Thailand, King of Gamers has really struggled in the tournament so far, right? Thailand has really flexed their muscles. Most of the teams have, or at least almost all of them actually, have been outstanding. They've been far ahead of the competition. It's just, I'm not sure what's really happened here with King of Gamers.
I mean, that's something they're going to have to investigate very much after this competition here.
Yeah, after week 1, I think they're going to have to consider what went wrong. How can they fix it? Is it where they're dropping? Is it their engagements? Is it the way that they're trying to approach the game? Should they focus more on placements or kills? It's hard to say because we don't really see much of King of Gamers, right? Like, by the time we do see them, the team is generally out of the competition. Speaking of out, Heavy is possibly going to lose a player here because he's all alone. He's
all alone. Stop actually has his teammates as backup, and he's just looking to try to get this kill here. A little bit of ring around the rosy here, and Stop unfortunately can't get the shot onto this last member of Heavy, Fudai. Fudai is just going to try to hide behind the tree right now. Stop. He doesn't have any more glue walls to use, neither grenades, but Fudai gets caught out from the outside from free FW God right around there. So the rest of NGS came in to just finish off this last member of Heavy, but it still has Tom. No, actually, he managed to buy back the rest of his team. So Tom, XC, Milna, and Buffalo are back in play here. So even though they lose out Fudai, they still are in play though. As long as they can stay out of trouble, Caramel spots out Mil now, just down by the valley here, and I think they might be taken down. Yes, he does. He gets taken out thanks to the scoped rifle right now, and NGX getting 2 kills for the name, just for the low price of free.
I mean, they're getting extra kills out of it, right? Like they forced Heavy out, and then Heavy's like, we're going to revive people. It's like, oh, more kills for us, no problem. It's okay. But aside that engagement, though, we're not really seeing any of the other teams crossing paths. Like, I mean, there's a possibility of Heavy maybe running into SCS. But besides that, I think the only engagement we might see is first Raiders maybe running into Axis, but the danger zone is up, so Axis wouldn't even want to go in there.
That's the thing, and they're still across from the river from where this next circle possibly might be.
Water circle?
Water circle? Oh, that might be a good proposition, actually. If that happens, then that's going to put first Raiders in play for sure, because they're already close to where the river mouth is. So.
Yeah, I can understand why some of the teams are currently not wanting to move, because they are anticipating the water circle and they want to make sure that they are on the right side of the river, right? Because one of the worst feelings in the world is that it's a water circle and the circle is on the other side of the river. You can't hide underwater. There's no submarine. They don't really have a clear way to cross water and free fire, so you kind of have to guess or hope that you're on the right side all the time. So, I mean, I'm surprised Sem9 are still sort of occupying this section of the map, but I guess they are focusing on looting because it's still pretty early. It's only the first circle.
I think they're the only team really to be looting around Fire Brigade after like Axis left the area. But we can see Axis actually crossing the river now, as the next circle is going to be showing itself very soon. Right now, SES very much on the outskirts of this next circle. Not going to be the water circle this time. It's still very much on land, but it's centered around Brasilia and fields. So that does mean that Axis, Sem9, first responders already made their way across the river now, and might just be within range of meeting up with NGX.
Might be. We'll have to see what happens here for now. But Sem9, they will cross over the bridge, so it's going to be pretty safe for them. And Axis will be able to loot the island for free. Now we've got First Raiders moving up towards the northern side. Now they might run into SES here. This is going to be a pretty interesting fight too, because SES, they are sort of the leaders for Group C. Can they maintain their status quo as one of the alpha teams? We'll have to find out in just a second. Unless NGX decide to stick their nose into everybody's business, because so far they're sticking their nose into MDH.
Yeah, and they're keeping them scattered right now. Stop trying to go in front. Tries to stop this one member in his trap, but the glue walls come out just as fast as he tries to shoot him down. Fine, he does get the shot though, and MDH right now is down to Don't Cry, the last member left here, has already run all the way out to the outside, does bring the buybacks for the rest of his team, so hopefully that will bring MDH back into this next circle. But it's certainly going to be starting from scratch.
Yes, from scratch with nothing in their inventories. I mean, it kind of hurts, but it's better than having just one person left,
that
right?
UAV is going to get so much data right now. It's going over first Raiders, and then now over SES. Kind of misses EVOS there.
Yeah.
But that's already more than enough information to know that this western side is very much stacked on Ray at the moment, trying to get some shots onto first Raiders here. Eclipse had a little bit of an angle there, but then certainly making it as hard as possible for them to respond back. And we can see first Raiders literally just peeling out, choosing instead to go towards the center of the circle where more of the fights seem to be happening. And speaking of that fights, VGM right now locked in battle with KOG. The KOG still has 3 members to go here, as they already managed to bring the buybacks coming into this round here. But VGX very much trying to keep them gate kept around the edge of the circle. Meantime, EVOS, this is Phoenix here, trying to fight against NGX within the center of Brasilia, trying to send a grenade out there. Does get a bit of a hit onto Dew. That's bringing him down to about halfway of his health here, and that's giving them an initiative now to try to move in on his position. Now, glue walls are still set up inside the house, so it's going to be a bit hard for them to fight hand-to-hand within that first floor. So they're going to try to flush him out with extra grenades sent in, but he got to watch out as well for the other members of NGX, because Caramel sends a grenade out to put God down on the ground. They're just going to try to run over the rest of EVOS here as Stop comes out. He's going to try to find one more member here. He finds it around the edge of the glue wall. Oh, just barely gets a shot in before Joanna puts him down for the count and takes him out completely. Now, Nero is getting into the mix as well. MDH hears all the shots coming in. They realize they could be playing a part in here. So 3-way battle now. And Farang also dropping in onto Brasilia. Now, this 2-way battle now is turned into a 4-way, and it's getting very, very crowded here out in Brasilia.
Yeah, and there's no buy points within that compound either, so the teams are sort of stuck here, especially EVOS. They're not going to be able to bring their team back into that fold. So now it's going to be a matter of who's going to be able to defend their compounds and who can maybe invade and put themselves in a better position, because so far everyone is so dead set on taking one of these buildings because it is prime real estate right now. But we have to also consider some of the other teams. Heavy's currently spread out. We do have SES coming in from the northwest, sorry, the west northwest. There we go, northwest side. But EVOS. Now, EVOS Divine is coming in from the northern side, and it's pretty clear so far. But on the eastern side, you can see that V Gaming are actually wanting to jump into this fight as well, but they also need to fend off First Raiders, who are also looking to try and get into this inner circle. Sem9 finally coming into the picture from the eastern side as well, and it looks clear because right now FARANG is busy with Axis.
And that's the thing, the fight is just going to continue on the southern side of the circle here while everyone else is piling in here slowly from the blue zones. Moshi in a moment is going to be caught in a bit of a tight spot here. He sets up the glue walls here to try to keep them in a safe spot here in this corner. But now that the circle is closed in around them, they're only lucky that this next circle still lands on top of them for now. MDH though trying to make some maneuvers here, getting up into the next floor, trying to spot the other teams, trying to make way into the circle while NJS tries to hold their own against Heavy, who's getting themselves in a mix. We can see shots sent all around. SES also finding a member of Buffalo from Heavy there on the outside, on the outskirts of the blue zone. So that's already another kill going the way of SES ALFAINK. In the meantime, Caramel continuing to try to use his vantage point here to shoot at any teams that try to get within range of this next circle here. And NJS really wants to try to hold this position here because it's the only complex that really provides a good view of the overall circle here.
Oh my gosh, so many bodies are hitting the ground. There's so many red names. King of Gamers actually surprised that this team is still alive, going to be on the high ground. They do want to contest with EVOS here. This is EVOS Divine. On the high ground, there's no, you basically got to rely on all your glue walls here. There's only a couple trees to work with, but they are going to go in for that rush here. SES on the other side being taken down by NIGMA Galaxy. SES Day. G'day is actually going to be going down. King of Gamers surprised. I mean, they've got one kill to their name. Is this team going to be able to accomplish much after this though? Because Victor, 12 teams are still alive.
12 teams still alive? That's a surprising thing, isn't it? Like, we're literally almost at the final circle now, and we still have all the teams still active here. It could still be anyone's game at this point. Now, we are seeing that this next circle here is looking a little bit rough for those people who are still on the northern side here, because you can see that hill kind of formation is giving a bit of advantage to some of the other teams. Now, we see VGM already inside the compound right in the middle of Brasilia, which is where this next circle is ending up, and we can see EVOS Divine just making the way towards there, using the vehicles as a slight bit of cover as Axis meantime trying to fight against Sem9 here, door to door, man to man, hand to hand right now. The two teams collapse onto each other. Sem9 getting double kills here, and Axis first team to get eliminated.
Hello, first team. How is this even happening? We are coming in towards our fifth circle in just a second, but there we go. Heavy, second team going to be eliminated. There's just not enough real estate on the field here for all of these teams. But right now, MTH comfortable with their compound. Oh no, FR Eclipse going to be the next team to be going down as well. And EVOS Divine losing players left, right, and center. But so far, MTH, they're not really being forced to be pushed out at all. SCS ALFAINK, next team to drop. So many teams are dropping so far. Look how quiet it is. There's just nothing happening for MTH. But NIGMA Galaxy on the rooftop trying to pop some heads if they can find any. But so far, not lucky with any of these pixels. None of them are coming out to play, Victor.
VGM also getting themselves taken out, so the next one to fall here, 17 still remain. Caramel having perfect vantage point here to shoot at MDH to try to run across to the next building across. Fortunately for them, none of them get knocked out, though they do take quite a bit of damage. Caramel now gets down onto the ground here to join up with his teammate here to see if they can secure their building. For so far, EVOS Divine gets knocked out here with Sem9, gets some shots onto FARANG and EVOS Phoenix. That's certainly going to be doing a number for them, because EVOS Phoenix doesn't look like they're going to be long for this world, with Moshi the last person left standing for that. He's going to get taken out. Good shot there with a grenade from Caramel, and now that's going to be EVOS Phoenix out for the count. 5 teams still remaining, still a very crowded circle here. The Plum Complex providing a little bit of cover, but then now with the Blues are coming in there, FARANG is the next one to fall, with Nuke getting a good shot there with his shotgun.
This game is now wide open because EVOS Phoenix are now out of the picture now. This does mean that NIGMA Galaxy could potentially be looking for the Booyah here, but are they in position to do so? MTH, they're still sitting in that compound, but they need to move. The circle is getting so small, and the damage from it is just too much to deal with. Nuke, the last player left here for MDH, he's right next to NIGMA Galaxy, and he gets Feel God. They're going to try and go for the backup. Can they finish him off? No, Nuke is still alive. He's blocked him in. That's some free damage for him, but can he heal up, though? They've broken the glue wall. It's Nuke versus 2. MDH down by NIGMA Galaxy. 2 players left. It's going to be down to Caramel and Do Sem9, the next team to go down. King of Gamers! They are come. What's going on? King Gamers is still here. It's a 2v2.
Okay.
Can they do it, Victor?
Oh, they're gonna try though, but then they do get the one knocked down here. There's still 2 members of King of Gamers still alive though, so it's still 2v2. Caramel trying his very best to fight here. Osaka gets kicked down. I think NIGMA Galaxy has done it. NIGMA Galaxy, have they taken that? Yes, they have. NIGMA Galaxy finally gets the booyah that they were looking for.
Their first booyah. I don't know how many times that they have been denied up until this point, but look at how the guys are just like, yeah, like the slowest, yeah. There we go. They're like, oh wait, we got to cheer. Let's go.
Probably didn't want to wake up the neighbors actually.
Celebratory drink of water.
Yeah, stay hydrated, my homies. But NIGMA Galaxy, they were on the verge of getting that booyah for so long now. So glad that they finally managed to get it in this round here. And boy, what a chaotic round, I have to say though.
12 teams. 12 teams on the 4th circle. That is almost unheard of in Free Fire. 10 teams is probably like the upper limit for teams that survive up until that point, but 12 teams. I don't have enough fingers to tell you how many teams are alive.
And then the thing is that once they start falling, it literally just like fell like dominoes.
I know,
One
right?
after another, after another. I mean, what absolute chaos was it in this map here?
Oh gosh, I love it. I mean, here's the thing. Normally I love water circles, but if the circles are always going to be like this on Purgatory, let's go! 12 teams final circles. Oh, look, 12 teams. Oh, it's still pretty early. I want to see how many players are alive. I think it was something like 36 with 12 teams remaining, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there was like a few like squads where there's only 1 or 2 members still remaining by the end, to be fair.
Oh, here we go. So
here
28.
28, as low as 28. And finally, before Access gets taken out, it was like around 27 players. So, wow. I mean, it was so crowded, this final circle. And the fact they landed on a Brasilia as well meant that there was actually a lot of cover to play around with, the different buildings, you know, the different
The hill as well, actually. I think some people also forget that sudden elevations also add to the difficulty, because in a lot of cases you tend to have the advantage if you have the high ground, but if you have a steep hill like that, the low ground is actually not too bad. You've got pretty good cover. But let's take a look firstly at the standings, because NIGMA Galaxy have somehow, actually, you know what, not even somehow, they deserve it, they whipped out 29 points, 17 kills.
I bet some of those were like, you know, killing fellas who'd like respawn back into the map and just unfortunately landed in front of them. That's the only explanation I could think of, really.
Yeah, people just like flying in and it's like, all right, time to shoot some birds. Let's go. Pew pew. But here's the thing. Like, I think this is, up until this point, EVOS Phoenix's probably worst performance thus far was this game. They only got 5 points from placements. They got no kills, which is shocking for this team. We are so used to seeing them picking up 13. It's like 12, 13, up until 17 points in kills. None.
And then conversely, when you look at on the other side of the spectrum,
has the kryptonite magically appeared?
Maybe.
Group C. But then again, NIGMA Galaxy got the points, so I mean, it's still Group A team.
I mean, it's still Group A, getting the bulk of the points, but I wanted to say that Sem9 and King of Gamers suddenly showed up in this fight.
I think it was because you said something about Sem9. You were just like, oh, I'm kind of disappointed. They were just like, Victor says we're disappointed. Let's go, guys. Take off the weights from our ankles. We are about to go to the next level. But they did do a fantastic job. I think I'm pretty happy with how Sem9 did. And King of Gamers, because I also sort of expressed my disappointment with this team. Because King of Gamers is one of the best teams in Thailand. So for them to sort of play and only end towards the bottom of the bracket, it's a little bit shocking, considering that we've also seen how competitive Thailand is.
Yeah. I mean, the whole region around was like basically holding up most of the top 6 spot until recently, and then King of Gamers was literally on the other side of the page. You know,
16.
since day one.
16 this morning. 16th place. So I'm hoping to see this team make a considerable climb, especially after that round. But some good news, we've got one more game to go.
Yeah,
we've got
indeed.
Alpine And after seeing that Purgatory game, I don't know, my expectations, they were like originally here. Now it's like up here.
Yep, certainly. I mean, last game of the day means we have to go all out, isn't it? Especially for groups A and C here. So, well, with that said, we're going to be taking a break here before this final game. Make sure you guys don't go away because we will be right back with more Snapdragon Pro Series actions after these messages.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Just wait and see, yeah. Get it on open.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully for the last time for the day, because this is the Snapdragon Pro Series, day number 2 of the challenge season, and it's going to be the 6th and final game here for today. My name is Victor Cax. Here is Downly Cast. We've been here all day long, and then now it's going to come down to this last one here for today. Groups A and C still up against each other, this time on the map of Alpine.
Man, this was a very unexpected set because we had probably one of the most chaotic games to come up for the entire league already in that last game. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you go back and watch it. Insane. 12 teams still alive at the 4th circle. 12 teams. But let's move on first very quickly to see where the overall standings are. So EVOS Phoenix had a terrible round in that previous round, only picking up 5 points, which does push them a little bit further ahead of EARENA. But if EVOS have another flop of a round, this is actually a big opening for EARENA to take over them tomorrow. So the race for first is absolutely possible. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I definitely didn't expect Phoenix to kind of drop that last round there, because they only got, what, 5 points?
5 points,
yeah. 5 points. So
5 placement points, no kills.
no kills, exactly. So
Shocking.
definitely now this given, I think this is making things a little bit more wide open as far as the top 2 are concerned. But as you look down the list here, you can see a big gulf between V Gaming Esports and Sales of ALFAINK, to get the top 6. So
about 20 points actually to get 6th place. Like, that's a very big gap that far down the leaderboard. You're essentially asking for 6th place to have no points, and for 7th place to actually score a booyah, which is 12 points and 8 kills to even tie. That's the tie. You have to get an extra kill if you want to be 1 point on top.
Right.
So there's a lot to ask for. But you know what's not a lot to ask for? Appreciation of our sponsors.
Hey, exactly it, because we're going to be giving a shout out now to our sponsor here, Monster Energy, for unleashing the beast together with us here at the Snapdragon Pro Series. We thank them a lot for providing the energy required for not just us, but the whole team involved here at SBS to keep pushing forward in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. We need the energy to run the tournament, and everyone is sky high, full of energy. Let's keep it up though, folks. And well, moving on, Victor, I can't wait. It was super exciting, that previous round. My expectations are ridiculously high. I shouldn't have expectations like this, but after that last game, I kind of want the exact same thing to happen. I don't care if it's a case of like everyone survives, 12 teams in the 5th circle. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But beggars can't be choosers. But what we can choose is for when the game should start, and that's going to be right now, folks. So we're going to jump right into Game 6, our last game of the day. It's between Groups A versus C. Let's see who grabs his final booyah, and are we going to see a redemption arc here for EVOS Phoenix? Because this team, we're so used to seeing them dominate, but I mean, so far in this grouping, it's not so great. But let's take a look and see, are there any hot drops?
Well, the blue zone is on a snowfall right now, so we can see even Phoenix literally immediately went straight for it. Yeah, they just gone straight for it.
But this was the recipe that helped them get the booyah during their first match, right?
Exactly.
So they literally had a free blue zone. And of course, as they're dropping in, they see absolutely nobody nearby. So they've actually decided to go send God Cruz out as a scout to see what's happening with the other teams.
And speaking of the other teams here, Sem9 and first FR are now coming in to fight here. Zen OP getting a kill onto Darkall, who's just been spotted around the outside. So FR is now down to 3 members. Sem9 continuing to try to wrap around here. They're going to try the very best to stay out of trouble. In the meantime, we're also seeing lots of shots being sent around from some of the other squads here. We just lost, I think,
King of
Gamers already out of the count here. So no chances at 12 teams all the way to the 4th circle from this point on. But for FR, there's still a chance for them to stay in the game.
Yep, they just stepped all over my feelings. I feel a little bit offended. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're going to have a great game. It's okay. But pretty interesting, though, because besides that, we're not really seeing too much craziness. I mean, EVOS is actually trying to go for an engagement here onto... Who is this? I cannot see. Is that Heavy?
It's the Axis, I think.
Oh, yes, it's Axis.
Yeah. So
in the center of the map, but we're gonna watch VGM here instead.
Yeah, VGM right now around the outside of where first Raiders are.
Oh, there goes EVOS divine.
EVOS bites the dust there. That's actually.
But here's the but. They've attracted the other teams. So Sem9 is going to start running in towards where Axis is. And as long as that poor little dude there, God Cruz, can dodge this, he shouldn't die. But I think he's actually going to maybe, we might see his name in a second.
Yeah, it might just
Wait,
be
oh.
Sam9. Oh, they're just passing by. I don't think they saw him at all. Yeah.
Oh, lucky. But I guess like the motorbike's pretty loud, so maybe it's hard to hear.
True, true. But they're making their way towards Forest Red right now. All the red trees dotting this biome here in Alpine. I think that's the biggest kind of like feature about this map here is there's so many different type of biomes all across this this one specific map here. You got the snow biome over in Snowfall. You got the autumn biome over here in Red Forest.
You got all the big trees that block your way.
Yeah, and then like Dock over here got a lot of these urban like environments here to fight around with.
The water tanks. Yeah.
Now Bara is going to be moving in together with the rest of his team here, which is just around the edge of the the eastern edge of this circle right now. BGM though, they're going to be collapsing onto FR right now. They already lost a couple of members actually in that fight. Boite is going to be brought back to the revive though, but Bond is going to try his very best to hold his own right outside here, but he's going to be chased around the edge of the house. Kral is going to try to hold him off here, finds him just as he tries to duck inside there. That's a little bit unfortunate there for BGM. They lose Bond, but they still have a couple of members revived back earlier on, so I think VGM is still in play.
VGM are in play, luckily for them, so it's not going to be a complete loss for the team, but we are going to be seeing the revival point kick in. So at least Raiders, they'll be able to come back with their 4 players. We are switching over to Heavy's point of view here, and they are running towards one of the teams. I think it's Heavy. Yeah, it is Heavy.
Yeah, Heavy running towards where Axis is at the moment. And I mean, Heavy's just made their way into Militia right now. Axis, you know, early on they were in the fight with EVOS Divine. And they certainly have reaped the rewards off of that, though. That's an AC-80 in the hands of 666 Raph over there.
Has Axis seen them yet, though?
I don't know, but they seem to be holed up a little bit, which kind of tells me that they're anticipating something to happen here, maybe setting up an ambush of sorts.
I mean, maybe they want to. Yeah, I think ambush sounds fun. Okay, there we go. So shots have been fired. So they have revealed their position. Yep. But this is Neptune, and he's actually right on top of them.
He is. The rest of Axis is going to try to fight around the other side of the flank while Neptune tries to go around a glue wall here, keeping an eye out. But unfortunately, the other teammate of Heavy comes in here. Neptune now in the force of the 2v1. But Time Turner comes out, and unfortunately, he's going to get taken down. 666 Raph now trying to rush in to try to rescue his teammate and try to rescue the flank here, trying to force Heavy off of their backs a little bit. But Flame 7, in the meantime, in the front, is taking quite a lot of damage, though. Things are not looking good here for Axis Esports as they're down to 2 people down to 2 people now with 666 Raph getting taken down. Zack and Flame 7 are going to try to hold their own, but Zack is taken down. Flame 7 last person standing. Can he keep the fire burning here for Axis Esports? No, he cannot. Fu dive takes him down with the MP40 and secures the docks for them.
He was surrounded. Unfortunately, just not enough hands to be able to pull off that kill, but it looks like Bayets unfortunately has been cornered. We are going to switch on over here to SES though, as we do see Ray get knocked down. Back to EVOS though. This is EVOS Phoenix. Now this team is pretty quiet, focused on looting. We did see that they were sitting on top of that high tier loot zone. They haven't moved up until now, but now they are going to be flying over. Luckily not into any teams, so no danger as of yet. But yeah, that's going to be it for Bayets.
Yeah, FARANG. Oh, actually, FARANG, that was like the last member for them, Spade, who was caught out.
Excuse me.
So, a bit unfortunate for him there, as he just landed in the middle of where SES ALFAINK was at that point. And they had just been, you know, farming out here by the docks, not too far away from where the safe zone is, so they can certainly make their way there. The only thing is it may get gate kept a little bit by MDH, who've already set themselves up on that the eastern side of the circle there.
Yeah.
Though we do have GE Day from SES already moving ahead there, keeping an eye out on MDH. Hopefully be able to relay that information back so that the rest of his teammates could go for and backdoor them around the base area.
Well, right now we're just going to be watching VG Gaming's point of view, but although quickly swapping over.
No, not like this.
It's fine. He was just scouting. So now he knows the position of this team. they now know roughly what angle they're going to be going in for that circle. So it's fine. There we go. There's the revive. He's back in. They're going to send him over to Sunside, it seems. Or maybe to Carousel. We don't quite know.
UAV being sent out. I think that's by Phoenix's side. It's going to scout out where first Raiders are. So they're going to be knowing that there's going to be an encounter sometime in the near future here on the cards for first Raiders.
Yeah, but the western side of the map so far is going to be very congested, right? The eastern side, it's rather clear. You're already looking at really 2 teams occupying the section. Southern side's pretty open as well for NIGMA Galaxy. There's no one really gatekeeping that inner circle, so they should be able to get in safely. It's just Sem9 has got a lot of work going for them because they have to deal with Raiders, they have to deal with VGM as they eventually come in, and then if EVOS Phoenix are able to cut through Raiders, then Sem9 are going to have to deal with them as well. But here we go, first round, it's going to be VGM entering that circle and possibly going within vision of Sem9.
Yeah, and Sem9 certainly tried to take advantage early on by getting into the middle of that circle first. So hopefully they're already set up. I do see a AWP in the hands.
They're holding. They're not shooting.
Holding at a moment, but they don't really have an open field to fire though. As VGX already moves in here, Bond is going to be able to spot the Zen OP right by the fences here. So he's going to keep try to work around here through the windows to see if he can find an opening to work with here. Unfortunately, he's going to be forced to be bringing out the glue walls right now. I did see first Raiders actually move in from the northern side, but I don't think they managed to catch it there. Newbie though, yep, he gets a good grenade catch onto Bingsu there, and that's already putting VGM in a bit of a tight spot.
This is a really awkward position for VGM because they sort of ran into the compound, did nothing, and then they just lost 2 players in the process. So that might just be 2 more players for Sem9. I mean, I feel really bad for Barn. I'm assuming that his teammate has gone to try and find a revival point or a vending machine. But yeah, it's just not looking good for VGM. They just fed 2 kills to Sem9, which I found very questionable.
Yeah.
Although at the top, though, is that Raiders? Yes, it is. So first Raiders are there. And there we go. VGM, Boy Taylor. It's okay, guys. I got your back. I'll buy it back. Here we go.
Speaking of which,
you're invaluable.
Speaking of which, first Raiders are actually gatekeeping Phoenix right now, so that's going to be a bit of a fight to watch out for. Bingsu going to be brought back into the fight here, airdropping from here. Carl going to try to hold his own with the glue walls, setting up a maze of an environment here as Phoenix tries to collapse onto them. Darkall trying his very best to hold his own here. The glue walls is keeping Evo at bay right now, but can they hold though? Already trying his very best to hold on. Oh, gets it. Good reaction time there. You know, to knock down Souza, but then Carl's already getting the shotguns coming through there. There's still 2 members of EVOS to contend with. Joanna and Moshi still alive for now, and I don't know how things are over at the first Raiders side, but it doesn't seem to be looking good with Carl getting taken out and down for the count there. And first Raiders Eclipse gets eliminated with a final kill onto Darkall.
I'm a little bit confused with first Raiders because we did see that there's a lot of glue walls there. They were holding onto multiple grenades and they didn't decide to use any of them to try and go for the flush. Bit questionable. Maybe they forgot they had the grenades. We'll never know. But what we do know right now is that SES are currently locked into a gunfight here. And so far looking good here because MDH are now down to nuke their last player alive. That's going to be it. Easy kills for SES, who are also the kill leaders with 8 kills under their belt on Sunside. And it looks like they have a clear entry point into that circle unless NIGMA Galaxy decide to rotate up top.
I tell you what, SES ALFAINK setting themselves up to be the stars of Group C right now.
They're looking sexy. I'm excited for them. They're looking fantastic.
Yeah, Sem9 now getting to another fight. And again, this is going to be round 2 between them and VGM. And ZOP gets the kill into Boyd. Hey, and VGM is down to 2 people. Vantan and Bingsu, where are they? Not to be found close to where Sem9 is. We're still at a full squad. Bingsu up in the rooftop there, just holding position.
Oh, but here comes EVOS Phoenix. This is a team you do not want to fight now.
Oh, no, not right now. But then this could be good news, though, for that last member of VGM who's still stuck there, Bingsu, because now Sem9's going to be a bit more distracted by Phoenix trying to rush into their positions. Raja now trying to reposition himself while Phoenix are continuing to roam in to this compound here, just across the street from where Sem9 is set up. Now, Raja sets up a couple of glue walls here. They definitely know they have to try to fight this out. They cannot afford to turn tail and run because there's nowhere, literally, to run from here.
There's too many buildings here. There's too many compounds. So there's no real way for anyone to get a clear shot unless one of these teams decide to go all in, run in, leapfrog their way with glue walls into the compound. So really, I don't know who's going to have the better position here. I mean, Sem9, they probably have the better compound, and it looks like EVOS Phoenix, they are feeling pressure to try and go in. So they might try and go in with Godcrest, but big one. Fikri actually being shot down there by Jonah.
Yeah.
This could be the opening that EVOS Phoenix need to start rushing, but they actually managed to catch Godcrest. There's another grenade. They will take him out. 3 versus 3. This might be where they turn things around, and EVOS, are they going to be sent reeling?
Well, the thing is, Sem9 needs to collapse on them immediately, and already is trying his very
They
best
get
to
the
hold his own goal walls, making it so chaotic right now on the outside. He rushes into the inside, out to the window, through the wall right now. He's only to get into the gun side to Zen OP. Joanna now tries to come in here to get the revive back in, but Sem9 just rushing onto Phoenix right now. The Blues are crashing all around them. Can they still hold on to this fight though? Sem9 still very much at full strength at this point. EVOS managed to bring back Joanna and Moshi, but Moshi gets knocked down to Joanna to try to hold his own. He gets knocked down as well. Already the last person left standing. He's running out. He's running away. He's not going to try to hold his own anymore. Or can he though?
Oh,
no,
he's got it!
Raja finds him around the outside and takes out Phoenix.
Oh my goodness, Sem9, 8 kills. They've managed to defend one of the biggest teams, if not the biggest team in the competition. And now it's going to be down to Sem9 and NIGMA Galaxy. And Sem9, they're looking fantastic. They've got the entire team very primed to take this booyah.
And DEWA's alone. I want to say DEWA was the last person left there. And he couldn't hold his own. NIGMA Galaxy got themselves completely white, just off screen just now. And he managed to make his way to the circle, only to get caught out by Sem9, who was just fresh off that victory against EVOS Phoenix. Look at the celebration of these guys. They knew they just pulled off an amazing upset here.
Look, there's the lucky, what's this called? Tempura pillow. Yes, there we go. The little shrimpy tempura. Oh my goodness, Sem9, that was... Okay, so here's the thing. The players, when they go into these fights, they don't know who they're killing.
True.
So if they go back through those VODs and they realize that they've actually killed EVOS Phoenix...
Yeah.
So,
Set.
the happiness that you'd feel to realize that you managed to outplay EVOS Phoenix.
They'll be celebrating a lot harder with that
Big
tempura
smiles.
right there. For sure.
Oh, goodness.
But, well, I mean, just yet again, another banger round, actually, when you fully consider it, because the fights were very tactical this time around. You didn't really see them just kind of bum rush out of, like, desperation or anything. It was very calculated in the way they did their movements and positioning.
Yes. Yeah, especially with the Sem9 and EVOS Phoenix fight, because you literally both teams occupying either side of the street. EVOS Phoenix, they did feel pressured to move because, of course, Sem9, they had the compound that was inside the circle, right? So they had to try and figure out how to leapfrog in. But the fact that Sem9, fantastic defense, they did not get overexcited. They had plenty of glue walls. They're constantly blocking EVOS Phoenix so that they had no openings to try and go for those free kills. The grenade of free creep, I think that was massive. Like the fact that they were able to get that grenade down and cripple him in the middle of the street some more, so that it's not an easy pickup. Oh, man.
I mean, Sem9 handled those couple of fights. I mean, remember, like, earlier on, they were scrapping with VGM early on and actually forced them off. And then VGM tried to come back again to fight them. And round 2 didn't work out well for them before Phoenix showed up. So, wow, goodness. 21 points. 21 points with Sem9. 9 kills to go alongside the 12 points they got for that booyah. This was a very successful day here for Sem9.
Very successful. Sem9, off the top of our head, were they already top 6? I think they're not.
No, they weren't.
So they might be able to scrape on by with these 21 points.
Actually, Sem9, the beginning of the day, they were 5th place overall.
Okay.
So they dropped a little bit down, I think, in the overall standings. And I
think top 6, very possible that we could be seeing Sem9's name as well. And then, of course, SCS ALFAINK. Right, this team, they kind of dropped out early, but they picked up 11 kills. 17 points, pretty good. EVOS Phoenix, they kind of recovered. 15 points, you know, it's not their average, but it's still enough to sort of propel them back up to that leaderboard. And I think we also need to mention NIGMA Galaxy here as well. Yes, the team, they came second. They didn't quite get that many kills, but they did manage to pick up 13 points.
Yeah, so at least for this, in the first page there, they're still making gains that are required of them to stay in the fight. I'm just surprised that despite all of that, like, chaos there, Sem only managed to do, like, barely 5,000 points of damage.
They Okay, so I don't think this team did a lot during the mid game. It was mostly
to be
towards
fair,
the end, right? They were mostly focused on grabbing those tail end of kills. Because I mean, Sem9 in general, they just don't play that aggressive playstyle. They'd rather defend a compound. They'd rather be the defenders rather than the aggressors. Or reaction. Like, reactive gameplay is how Sem9 generally plays as well. But I am keen to see what the leaderboard is looking like as well, right? Because we've played all 6 games for today. I want to see where everyone sort of ended on their note for today, and then sort of what to look forward to tomorrow, right? Because the teams still have to play another round tomorrow.
Exactly. So we're going to be finding that out very soon. But before that, we're going to be taking a little bit of an interview right now with the winners of that last round. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, Vickery from Sem9, congratulations on that last booyah there. Talk us through a little bit about what your feelings, or rather the emotions going around the team right now.
We kind of feel like we're managed to beat the top teams, especially from Thailand, the EVOS Phoenix. We managed to be like the same level as them as we reach the booyah.
So, have any questions from your side?
Sure. So, after yesterday's games as well, what did you have to do as a team to adapt and change and catch up with some of the top tier teams today?
Maybe it's, for me personally, it's just we will not give up either if we will lose bunch of match. It's just that just don't give up, just go for it.
Positive mental attitude. I love that, Vickery. Last question from me though, for the fans of Sem9, the supporters of Sem9 out there, do you have any words you like to say to them?
Thank you for supporting us, especially after we facing a downfall after our MCP Season 4 final. Thank you so much. I love you guys.
Aww, so cute. All right, thank you so much, Vickery. It was amazing talking to you. Hopefully we see you again for another winners interview. That was adorable.
I know, right? That on top with like the tempura plushie. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, these guys seem like a real blast to hang out with.
I'm waiting for the Sem9 plushies. Okay, I want to see little plushy tigers. We gotta have those. But the overall standings, Victor, is ready. So let's take a look and see where everyone is at the end of today. So let's start in 6 and 7, because I think this is the biggest one. Sem9, after their amazing run in that last game, they just miss out on 6th place. 3 points away. Now, this is also a really sad thing for us too, because they are competing with Expand for top 6. This is another team that's coming in from our region. So I hate to see only one of these teams make it through. But of course, we're still talking about the beginning of the season, so plenty of opportunities for Expand and Sem9 to potentially close the gap with the other teams in that top 6. Attack all round, luckily, have been able to maintain their position, but SES ALFAINK, they have climbed to 4th place. What a team.
47 placement points, 55 kills to bring a total of 102. The 4th team here to break into the 3 digits here, ladies and gentlemen, and it comes all the way from Indonesia. This is exciting.
And then we have NIGMA Galaxy, EARENA, and EVOS Phoenix as our leading teams. We actually saw a bit of a drop here for Attack all around. This team, not so much of a great day today. But I do want to sort of point out the points for the teams in general, because this is also going to explain their general play styles. NIGMA Galaxy, extremely placement heavy, but I think this also goes to show how close this team has managed to get multiple booyahs. They only got 1, but there were multiple times where they actually got 2nd place. Not so much in the kills department. They're kind of matching up with SGS and Attack all around, but that's not really a big deal. EVOS Phoenix is a beast of their own. They are good at everything. They're all-rounders. They grab kills, they grab placements, they get everything equally. Whereas EARENA, I think this team is just a really good example of a team that shows consistency. They always get the placements, and then they get kills as sort of a secondary thing.
And then Attack all around, like literally living up to the name, having more kill points compared to placements, and still able to stay in the top 6, even though currently they are, you know, in danger of getting challenged here by Expand. But I would say
I say even Sem9. I think Sem9 could even challenge for Attack all round's placement.
Yeah, exactly. So, nonetheless, there's still going to be a journey ongoing here in this challenge season. Tomorrow, that's where things are going to be a little bit different because it's Bermuda and Kalahari yet
again.
Yeah.
Now, this is now going to challenge the theory on whether or not there's map preferences for some of these teams, right? Because we saw EVOS Phoenix pop off on these two maps yesterday. Today, it seemed like a challenge. Are they going to do as well as they did on day 1 on day 3? I'm really curious.
Well, we're going to find out very soon because, like, again, you can kind of, give them the benefit of the doubt that the first day itself, they weren't too sure about what the power levels were between these different regions. But I think safe to say by the time we get to day 2 now that we've already gone through all these maps, now they're going to be coming back to Bermuda and Kalahari. They're definitely know exactly what to expect coming out in these top 18.
Yeah, some of these teams are going to be coming into the games well researched. They are going to look at those drop points and possibly where these teams like to go. But unfortunately, that is going to wrap up the show. But before we close everything up, we do need to give a quick mention to our amazing sponsors for putting the tournament together. Firstly, to Snapdragon Elite Gaming for putting together the tournament. They are the MVPs because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have these games. The teams would not be here. And of course, we won't have the grand final that's happening in Jakarta next year on the 4th and 5th of February. Super, super exciting. And also have to give a big thank you to Monster Energy for helping us to unleash the beast when we game. They are the best provider of energy if you need it on the go. Thank you so much to Monster. And of course to Kachi Shop. If you are looking for a partner to help you top up for your game purchases, look no further than Kachi Shop. They have your back. Victor, today's been amazing.
It has indeed. I mean, plenty of really good games here today. I mean, I'm a bit sad that I wasn't there to personally cast the games from yesterday.
Hey, you got tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow is going to be the true test.
Yeah, so that's going to be exciting to see. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, same time, same channel here.
Yes.
This has been the Snapdragon Pro Series brought to you by ESL. My name is Victor Cax. This is Danily Casts. We're going to be coming back again next time around, and make sure you guys join us in the next edition of Snapdragon Pro Series tomorrow, where we continue to fight here for the challenge season for Free Fire. Until then, good night and good luck.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and Kachi Shop.
Till a player on top, know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fly through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look. You won't stop my stride. I'll just break your line. I don't tolerate wasted time. You take us down, keep fighting.
I gotta get it, I'm on the mission, snap any minute, casually winning. Stop tripping on me, stop dissing on me. Yeah, I got a dream, can't take it from me. My fire's burning, I'm always learning. Tell me where to go, man, I'm on a journey. Yeah, I can't explain it, I get excited. Keep it 300, King Leonidas. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get